Hey kids, what's up? How y'all doing? How y'all doing? How y'all doing? I'm excited. I'm excited. This is gonna be fun. I kind of decided day before yesterday that we were gonna do this tonight. And because why not? I mean, folks, we all know why we're here. She speaks. She speaks. Madam VP, who is the Democratic nominee for 2024 for the position of President of these United States. She will be finally giving her first sit-down interview. Why did it take so long? I don't know. I'm willing to give grace where it's reasonable. I mean, we've talked about it a little bit here on the channel. This is a little odd. I don't know if anything like this has ever happened before, where the current president, who was up several months before the election, drops out, and then the VP is the new nominee without a single vote. I mean, hey, but our democracy's at stake. Thank y'all for rocking out, man. We are streaming to YouTube, of course. Duh. YouTube, Facebook, and Instagram. The Instagram with the StreamYard has been doing pretty good. Pretty good. But yeah, so if you're joining us now and you're new here, thanks for coming. Like, share, and subscribe. It's gonna be fun. I do have, if you're watching on YouTube, the call-in link is pinned in the chat. If you're watching on Facebook or Instagram, you can go to the YouTube channel if you want to call in and join. If you're watching on Instagram, the link is in my bio, and honestly, the same should be on Facebook. Like, you'll find the link to the channel, or I believe if you go to my Facebook page where this is being streamed to, the YouTube link should be somewhere, like the last post before this one. It's gonna be fun. Starts in 15 minutes, guys. The show starts in 15 minutes. We're gonna react to it in real time. Live, it's airing live. Oh, so the interview was pre-recorded. They actually have been playing clips of it on CNN all day. I saw like one or two. I didn't really want to get too much because I knew I was going to be doing this tonight. So we'll see. Again, there's a few things that have been said about it. One, the fact that it's been a while, so a lot of people got a lot of questions for her. Many things have been said. The DNC was last week, which if you've seen any highlights from there, looked like a good time, I guess. Lots of joy. Lots of joy. Kamala's the candidate of joy. Looking at the live chat there was something a second ago that I was like, I'm going to do that, and I forget what it was. I remember what it was. I forgot to make a banner. Her first interview. There we go. Kamala. So yeah, her first interview. And people have a lot of questions. The person doing it is what's her name? Dana journalist. I don't know much about her. I don't really watch. I've been watching CNN a little bit lately. I kind of checked out from like the new. I like independent news, if anything, or I'll at least I still think it's good to watch CNN, Fox, MSNBC. Watch all of them, because if you watch all of them, you can get a better idea of what's really going on, I guess. Because, like, I mean, obviously, the different news outlets have their different biases. I would argue that the majority of the mainstream ones kind of lean in one direction, with a few outliers. But also Ground News, which Ground News is not sponsoring this video. But hey, Ground News, if you want to sponsor a guy, that'd be great, because I love your app, and I tell people to use it all the time. Ground News is an app that has every major news story all over the world. And what it does is it gives you all the sources that are covering it, and it lets you know where they align politically. So, what I end up doing is I'll read like 5 different articles about the same event, but by looking at it from the different perspectives of, different outlets that, maybe lean a certain way or have a certain opinion or view on something, I can get a more balanced idea of maybe what happened, or how maybe I should go about, thinking critically about, a certain like event or news story, etc. But Ground News, guys, download the app. It's fantastic. Again, they are not sponsoring this video. Yo, Mike. Oh, I'm so happy you're here. Yeah, the interview starts in 10 minutes, guys. The interview starts in 10 minutes. And remember, if you're watching on Instagram or Facebook, go over to the YouTube channel if you want to call in. I'm trying to think. Yeah, so for the interview, what I'll be doing is I will be streaming it live. I will be watching it live, on CNN or whatever, but I will be pausing for commentary, and then, especially if we have like people join, if they have something they want to interject, we can pause. So I'm gonna be pausing all over the place, but that's reaction stuff. Also, I'm not trying to get like a strike or something. I don't know if CNN counts as like, I've gotten, I think, like copyright little flags before in regards to like news and CNN things, but that's why we have all our different little stamps and stuff, so that way, like fair use. But yeah, kids, I'm so glad. I'm excited for this. Also, I will be covering the debate on September 10th. The show will be starting at 8 p.m. And what we're going to be doing, guys, I'm trying to assemble like a kind of at least like get like 4, 5 other people going in, like maybe some friends, different people who I think, y'all should know about. But we are going to be doing call-ins, because we're going to be doing the debate drinking game. Yes. I'm not looking up one. I'm going to make up my own drinking game for the debate. But yeah, we'll be streaming it here live, and we're going to be reacting to it, and we're going to watch it, and it's going to be a whole lot of fun, guys. It's going to be a whole lot of fun. I'm really excited for that one. I will probably make all the stuff for it like within the next 2 days, and I'll post it so you can go to it, hit the notification bell. But hey, since you're here already, you feel me? Why don't you see right at the bottom there, like the stream, guys? Like the stream, like the video, share it. All right, share it. Tell your friends. Shout it to the rooftops. And don't forget to subscribe. Please, please, please.
Subscribe, please. Because. Subscribe, please. Yes.
Subscribe to the channel, hit the like button, hit the notification bell, so that way you can stay updated on streams like this, as well as other regular video uploads. Well, regular, I post a video every Winter Olympics. But if you notice, guys, there's been more stuff lately. I said that last stream. But yeah, there were a few things that I did want to cover. I wanted to start at 8 initially. To kind of give a little pre-thing, but this whole election, all this stuff is very interesting. I've been talking to many different people who feel all different kinds of ways, and it's very interesting talking to people about this in particular, because it's polarizing. Like, this is touchy. And personally, and again, you guys kind of already know how I feel. I'm pretty sure I know who I'm probably going to vote for, but like either way, my main takeaway from all this is And the thing I find the most interesting is just the nuttiness of it all, which is why this is going to be fun. Like this interview is going to be fun because, like, all right, like I mean, I already know, like I mean, it's pre-recorded, it's bullshit. And get this, guys, that's not because it's Kamala Harris. If let's say Trump, like same scenario, it would be like, oh, dude, you're so full of shit. And he's there's so many times we can call him out on being full of shit. They're all liars, guys. They're all liars. But then it goes into that, like, choosing the lesser of the two evils. And not only that, like, it shit is entertaining and it's good for a number. So again, like the stream, share it. Anyone watching on Instagram? We have any people watching on Instagram? Probably not. Facebook, YouTube. There we go. Oh, it's almost time, guys. Who are you guys voting for? I should have put a here. Let me make a. Let me. I should. Yeah, I should make a poll, right? What should the poll be, guys? Actually, wait here. Let me. I'm gonna start a poll. I'm gonna ask like a very like simple question that won't start any fights. Wait. I'm gonna make sure I write Harris and then Trump. Some I forget who it was. I think it was someone at work. They called me out for they're like, oh, this we always refer to her as Kamala and not as Harris. We don't do that for Trump. Is it because she's a woman? Actually, I think my older brother said that to me. Well, yeah, guys, who you voting for? That's the poll. That's not like polarizing at all. There we go. Awesome. That's where we are, kiddies. All right, it's starting soon. Again, guys, join. I would love to hear. I mean, but also, you have the comments, guys. You don't have to cam up. So if you call in, you don't want to be on camera. You don't have to be on camera. However, when you're in the backstage, I will have to, just verify, check everyone because we don't want any gore bombers. We don't want any corn bombers. You know what corn is? My man Mike is in the chat. No, it's me who said that. Oh, was it you? Okay. Okay. So yeah. So my friend Mike is the one that was like, oh, why do we always for her? So lately I've been making a note. I'm like, oh, you know what? Hey, yeah, Harris. Which it's taken on now, I would say. Cause it's like, oh, she's the person. And something that I was thinking about earlier was like, it's more interesting, I guess, that she's the one going against Trump, but I would argue Biden was the stronger candidate if he wasn't like old and his brain wasn't melting. That is. But we here, y'all. How you doing? It's after hours. I got CNN over here. I'm like looking at it in the background. It's like just so many ads. Yeah. And there's probably, I'm assuming there's going to be ads. I don't know how long. I mean, it's the interview, I think is an hour, but with ads, it's probably actually like 45 minutes, maybe 39 minutes. I don't know how much of it is going to be just like them talking. Like, I hope it's not the kind of thing where it's Dana talking to an anchor and they look at highlights from the interview. I hope they just show, like, obviously it's pre-recorded, so it's edited to some degree. So I'm expecting that, but at least, freaking do the Joel. Yo, I see you in the back, bro. My man. Okay. I remember I was telling you earlier about the debate one. I figured I was like, oh, he'll probably join in on that one. You came up here. You're either really bored or you're also interested. So I'm gonna bring you on up. Wait one second. What the hell is this? Where am I watching it? On CNN, of course. But you are here, so you can watch it with me, Yeshua. Yes, you can watch it here with me. Again, I'll be, I have to, it has to be transformative. I can't just sit here quietly and watch the stream. That would be dishonest and not entertaining. It would not be fair to you, the audience, if I were to do that. But guys, Crispy's here. I'm gonna bring him on up.
Hey guys.
What up, gang?
Yo, what's up? Yeah, you're pretty much right. I was bored, so I was like, yeah, let me chill with Shannon real quick.
All right, yo. So I'm watching. Okay, so have you been following the election cycle? I don't know. Honestly, we might have talked about it in passing. I don't know. But
like briefly, I think I talked about it more with people I guess like at bars or like at my job, pretty much. And yeah, like
what's the word on the street? What are you hearing? What are the people saying?
this is the same shit. It's like either like both sides are calling each other warmongers, right? And it's like it's like the same
Wait,
shit.
Crispy. I think there's a delay. Chat, are you hearing a delay, or is there a delay?
I don't know.
I don't know if it's on my end or your end. Here, I'm gonna say fish, then you say fish immediately after me. Fish. Okay, yeah, there's a delay. Here, I'm gonna pull you down, log out, and then log back in.
Okay.
All right. He's gonna come back. But yeah, yo, it's about to get started. It's getting started. Let's get it started. Let's get it started. Yeah. And again, subscribe to the channel, guys. You know what the irony is, guys? I'm actually trying to quit smoking. And I'm smoking right now. I've got myself down to like a very short number of cigarettes a day. And I've been using a vape, a nicotine vape, to help wean me off of it. So you probably see me vaping at some point too. But I'll probably smoke on the same cigarette the entire stream. But cigarettes are bad, guys. Cigarettes are bad for you. You shouldn't smoke cigarettes. Like, they're not good. They're not good for you. Also, guys, my daughter needs juice. I'm just saying. Everybody, let's get into it. Get stupid. Get retarded. Get retarded. Get retarded. Let's get retarded. Let's get retarded in here. All right, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Is there still a delay?
Well, I can't really tell.
Yeah, I can hear you. Is there a delay?
No, not really. Like your fucking voice is matching with the video, so it's cool. How about me? Like, am I in a delay?
I think there is still a delay, but a little bit. But kids, we about to get into him. Yeah, I mean, okay, here we go, guys. The first interview. And again, guys, I'm gonna be pausing it throughout, so like as we watch it, yeah. But and I'll be talking. So, Crispy, let me know if you can hear everything and hear me and stuff. Chris, you can hear it?
I can hear you. I can't hear the video.
Phone call from Joe Biden.
Now
I'll give you a little too much information.
And their take on those viral convention images.
It's very humbling. It's very humbling in many ways.
All right, there we go.
I don't know as a father I could have ever imagined that.
Just for the White House, CNN's exclusive interview of the Democratic nominees starts now.
All right. Dun, dun, dun.
Good evening. We're live from Savannah, Georgia. I'm Dana Bash, and this is a state very much up for grabs. In between a whirlwind series of stops, I sat down with the Democratic candidate for president and her running mate today at Kim's Cafe here in Savannah. Inside, nothing was off the table, and you will see our interview in its entirety. The vice president's first as her party's standard bearer, responding to her critics and answering our questions.
Finally.
Welcome on board. Thank you. It's good to see you.
This is not where Vice President Harris thought she would be.
We're going to Georgia. Yes. 7th trip there this year for me.
A surprise nominee for president just months
It is a
from
surprise
Election
nominee
Day.
because she wasn't.
Set in motion after a stunning debate.
Look,
Stunning debate. So,
finally
Crispy, what do you
beat
think about
Some within your own party.
the fact that like she wasn't voted in?
Yeah, she was like endorsed by every other candidate. And like, I
Like-
didn't really know of any other Democrats that were running for president. Like, and then like everybody just endorsed her, and it was like, she's the nominee. I was like, okay. I don't know, man.
What do
I
you
was
think
thinking
about the fact that like it's like they're saying like this is the most important election of all time, right? Apparently, that's what both sides are saying actually, and both sides are actually kind of making the argument that our democracy's on the line. And but I would argue that the Democratic Party, they're really pushing it. They're like, oh, yo, the democracy's on the line. So why is it like if democracy's on the line? It seems I would argue, and I don't know for a fact, but I would argue that the way that the nominee was picked, being Harris, was a little undemocratic. I mean, I could dig it. Like, I mean, it seems like everyone's for it. So I guess no harm, no foul. But like that looks a little fishy. And especially considering she was not really that popular, like ever up until like a month or two ago when
This whole
it seemed like the news was telling me to like her.
It was really weird to begin with because they decided to debate Joe Biden's camp, like decided to debate like before even like the election was in. That was odd, and then I guess that just became the outcome of Kamala Harris running for fucking president. You know what I mean? And then her coming out with this guy Tim Walz. I guess he's like the mayor of Minnesota. I don't know what he's fucking mayor of. Wisconsin. I don't know. But like, yeah, everything's just coming at once. But they're saying the same shit they've been saying. You know, President Trump is a aspiring dictator. You know, he wants to take over the country and get rid of the Constitution. And then you have Trump saying that they're like Kamala Harris is a Marxist. You know what I mean? Yeah.
I can dig it. Let's keep going because it is going live. But guys, again, if you're just now joining us, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. We have the call-in link pinned in the YouTube live chat. So if you're watching on Facebook, you're watching on Instagram, get on over to the YouTube channel. Join me and Crispy as we watch the first interview from Democratic nominee Kamala Harris. Let's continue.
And then an extraordinary decision.
I've decided the best way forward is to pass the torch to a new generation.
Philadelphia!
What usually takes
New
years
generation.
of planning coming together in a matter of weeks.
Tim Walz!
After a historic nomination at the convention in Chicago,
On behalf of everyone whose story could only be written in the greatest nation on earth,
USA.
I accept your nomination to be President of the United States of America.
the Harris-Walz ticket is now pushing forward with the shortest presidential campaign in modern history.
You see how that bus
What
looks
did
like
you
a
hear
cop car? Like it has the blinking
From
lights.
voters
like,
here. People
fucking weird. That's a weird bus.
are very optimistic.
Them on the trail, they visited the battleground of Georgia.
Yeah, you hearing the video?
All right, you can see it now, right?
I could see it, but I couldn't hear it.
Chris?
Yeah, can you hear me? Like, I can hear you. I'm not sure if you can hear me.
Oh.
I don't know where Shannon went. What the fuck just happened? Why am I in? Oh my god. Sorry guys for the delay. I don't know what's going on. I guess Shannon's is all messed up. I don't know.
I'm so sorry about that, guys. Oh my goodness. Technical difficulties like a mug. Let's get that back. Yeah, let's get back. Sorry about that, dude.
I don't know what happened.
Yeah, it was my fault. Technical difficulties on my end. I'm running on, guys. That's why these are struggle streams. You feel me? We're ghetto rigging this like a mug, but we back at it. Thank y'all for still rocking with us. Here we go. Anyway.
Are very optimistic.
We join them on visited the battleground of Georgia. Just 68 days from the election. Madam Vice President, bus tour is well underway here in Georgia. You have less time to make your case to voters than any candidate in modern American history. The voters are really eager to hear what your plans are. If you are elected, what would you do on day one in the White House?
Well, there are a number of things. I will tell you first and foremost, one of my highest aspirations, the goal.
And like this, I'm bringing this up to make it more interesting, right? To kind of throw some gasoline on the fire. Do you think there's a reason why? Can you see it now? Are you guys being able to see it? Chris, can you hear me? Oh. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Oh, dude. Okay. Yo, I don't know what's going on. Can you see this?
Well, I can see the screen, but like I can't see it move. I think I do need to get off so the video.
Well, no, I paused
clearly.
it now. I think it's on my end. I did pause it. Did you hear my question?
Yeah, but from what I see in the show, like the video isn't really playing. It's choppy as fuck, and I can hardly hear it. So I don't even know how it feels, like how it looks like on the show.
1 second.
In a
You
way
hear it
that
now?
generation.
What would you do on day one in the White House?
Well, there are a number of things. I will tell you first and foremost, one of my highest priorities is to
I can hear it,
do
but
what we can
it's like
to
the video's not matching with it. But it's cool. Maybe it's just my phone.
support and strengthen the middle class. When I look at American people, I think that people are ready for a new way forward. In a way that generations of Americans have been fueled by by hope and by optimism. I think sadly in the
Like you wait, so you can hear it, but it's not. You can't like it's not moving.
Yeah, like the video looks weird, but I can hear it.
Okay.
I think I should just get off, and then the video would play better.
If you want to try. Sorry, kids. So, look, guys. Sometimes when you're doing stuff live, you have technical difficulties. All right, man. I'll pull you down, then you can log back in. Chat, let me know. Can you guys? Are you guys having? Actually, here. Let me check the stream right now. Of course, this would happen today of all days, guys. Today of all days. Why this show? We gotta work out these kinks. You know what this is? This is what happens when. So I don't know if anyone watching has been here in the 2-3 years that I've had the channel. Remember when I used to do like 3-4 live streams a week? Like 3-4 live streams a week. But if you are just now joining us, we are watching the first Kamala Harris interview. We just started. We just got into it. I am pausing and giving commentary. We got Crispy here. If you're watching on YouTube, there is a call-in link pinned in the chat. So click that, call in. You don't have to be on camera if you don't want to. I will have to verify you in the back chat beforehand. But hey guys, come on. Also, we have a poll. I got a little thing going on. Let's see. So we got 64% Trump, 36% Trump, 64% Harris so far. Ooh, there we go, kids. Let's keep going. I'm waiting for Crispy to get back in here, but let's keep going.
last decade. We have had in the former someone who has really been pushing an agenda and an environment that is diminishing the care and the strength who are seconds, really, and people are ready to turn the page on that.
So what would you do day one?
Day one, it's going to be about implementing my plan for what I call an opportunity economy. I've already laid out a number of proposals in that regard, which include what we're going to.
Did you notice that she asked her twice? Like she had to ask her that question twice. And guys, I'm keeping it a buck. I'm critical. So going into it, I'm just gonna keep it a buck with y'all. I think that the way that they're going about this particular campaign, this particular nominee, is a little janky. It's a little shady. But then again, this is politics. Chris, I see you in the back. I'm trying to see if I can get this the thing to work. I'm kind of having I am definitely having some difficulties, if I'm honest. But here, I'm going to add you back. What's up, man?
Oh, good, man. I'm sorry.
No, I really, honestly, I think it's me on my end. That's honestly what I think is the problem. But we're gonna keep at it. Honestly, if you can hear it, I mean that's fine.
I think hearing is good enough. I think
the
it's
what?
Just from my I think it's just from my phone. Maybe like if the video.
No, I just double checked it. Like I was looking at the stream on YouTube and it was a little choppy, but you can hear it. But honestly, that's all I care about, if you can hear it. But I'm gonna actually take it back a little bit, because this was the first question. Oh, wait a minute.
Because we're really eager to hear what your plans are.
Okay. All right, kids. Here we go. As we were. So sorry if the picture's a little janky. I'm having some internet difficulties. I'm assuming that's the problem. But yeah, we can hear it. So as we were.
are. If you are elected, what would you do on day one in the White House?
Well, the highest priorities is to do what we can to support and strengthen the middle class. When I look at the aspirations, the goals, the ambitions of the American people,
Okay.
I think that people are ready for a way forward.
Sounds good.
In a way that generations of Americans have been fueled by hope and by optimism. I think, sadly, in the last decade, we have.
So notice, so Chris, did she answer the question yet?
No. No. She just did like a long.
I'm sure they'll get to it.
Yeah, I guess like let's hear her out, because you cut her off at a certain point where I was like, all right, she's gonna get to it. Because it hasn't. Basically, so
I
far,
did. I did. I'm sure she's gonna give explanation. Thanks for keeping me balanced.
Have had in the former president someone who has really been pushing an agenda and an environment that is about diminishing the character and the strength of who we are as Americans, really dividing our nation. And I think people are ready to turn the page on that.
So what would you do day one?
Day one,
Yeah, she had to ask her twice.
One, implementing my plan for what I call an opportunity economy. I've already laid out a number of proposals in that regard, which include what we're going to do to bring down the cost of everyday goods, what we're going to do to invest in America's small businesses, what we're going to do to invest in families, for example, Life, to help them buy a car seat, to help them buy baby clothes, a crib. There's the work that we're going to do that is about investing in the American family around affordable housing.
See, so she's saying these things, and like it's like, okay, but like, and I'm just being honest. And again, kids, I'm not, like I said, I have an idea on who I think I'm gonna vote for. It's been kind of in the air. However, if I'm honest, the Kamala bid, for me, guys, I just don't see it. I don't understand. Like, she's not, and this is now obviously her opponents, people who are critical of her, people who, whether it be they're Republicans or just whatever party someone's affiliated with, if they're voting, for Trump or some other third candidate. I thought the only other independent was RFK, but RFK recently just has endorsed Trump and dropped out. I don't. She hasn't like, again, the criticism that she's been getting met with is like she hasn't really said anything. It's been like a month. Like, again, I think everyone can recognize like everything Dana said in the beginning, like, is true. We've never seen anything like this in history. It is, I'll give it is quite impressive. She raised a lot of money in a very short amount of time. It would appear as though she's popular and loved, which again, for me, is a little interesting because just a year ago, we were making jokes about how like kind of forgettable she is and how like she kind of talks weird and no one really likes her, even people in her party. But now all of a sudden she's like the Messiah. And it's the same thing with the Trump people. It's like they think that this guy is like the savior of all. The only difference is, I would argue, again, and that doesn't mean like, again, I don't think Trump's not the freaking Messiah. However, kids, Trump's done the job already before. So he does have that in his favor. Now, Kamala, she's the VP. She's currently in office. And something that I think is interesting is like the thing that's kind of being pushed here, at least this is how I'm taking it. Maybe I'm picking up the marketing incorrectly. But it's like she's the underdog. Like she's just trying to be president, and she's got a plan. And it's like, dude, you're there right now. Honestly, like if I was the VP and I was the Democratic nominee for president, all the positions that I'm doing. So let's say hypothetically that Kamala Harris has recently, hypothetically, kids, let's say hypothetically Kamala Harris has recently maybe made similar promises to that of Donald Trump, her opponent, right? That would mean that the mostly Republican, because I think in Congress, right, there's mostly Republican seats, right? Like, there's mostly Republicans there. She, as VP, could take a proposal there now with some of these. Like, what I would do if I was her, like if I was in the similar situation, anything that I was promising the American people that maybe my opponent was also promising, I would take it to Congress right now and try to get it done right now. One of two things, or there's two possibilities, right? And both would work in her favor. Either one, they would vote them in and she would look like a savior and a hero, right? Or two, they won't vote them in and it would make them look like hypocrites because their nominee is promising the same things and yet they did not approve them and vote them in, meaning that they were lying about what they wanted. And it would still make her look good. Why isn't she doing that? Maybe she'll get into that. Let's continue, guys. Chris, do you have anything to add to any of the ramblings that I have spewed?
No, I'll just watch the video and answer whatever it says.
All right, let's keep going.
Big issue in our country right now. So there are a number of things on day one.
What about you?
Well, I'm excited about this agenda too.
Wait,
As I
what?
said, the idea of inspiring.
What about you?
What can be, and I think many of these things that the vice president's proposing are things that we.
Oh yeah.
Wait,
so,
okay.
So,
I'm sorry, because actually,
check this out, Shannon. This recorded interview is happening at the same time that Donald Trump's being interviewed, and it's live. But it's like
wait, what? Trump's doing an interview live right now?
Yeah, I forgot who it was. Like some Bober, I don't know. It was a chick, and yeah, they just.
What is this? Some podcast or something?
No, it's not a podcast. It's like in front of a whole crowd of people, and just.
Oh, he's giving a rally somewhere.
Yeah, it's an interview that's like it's a set up interviews to make him look good while he's running for president. Like they're not giving.
Oh,
him,
so he's currently
like,
busy
like,
speaking while she's doing or while this is airing.
Yeah, like with his people and stuff. Like they're not gonna ask him about his indictment that he just got this past week. Like I don't know what it was. Like you know what happened. They're not asking him those type of questions. They're asking him questions related to the election, and he's like talking.
Yo, I would want them to only ask questions about the election, like let's say hypothetically, like if Kamala. Sorry.
If Kamala what? No, go ahead. If Kamala what?
Like if Kamala, let's say Kamala, was convicted of like several things. I also I would give her the same grace. I would say no, I want to hear her talk about. Because get this. Everyone knew that when Trump got indicted or charged or whatever, that it wasn't going to affect him running. And I would argue that would be the same for any candidate, anyone as popular as him. So even with Biden, let's say it was the same thing in reverse, Biden would still be running and no one would people would be critical. His critics would, be critical of it. But, yeah.
Yeah, it was the indictment related to the January 6th thing. And that already happened the past couple months.
No, it wasn't just January 6th stuff. It was a bunch of other things that Trump got.
Yeah, that one was the porn star stuff. Sorry, yeah, you're right. This is
even more than that. There were bunch of different charges.
I'm trying to shit. Yeah, and sorry,
but
using my train of thought. But basically, the difference is that this is a pre-recorded interview with the vice president and presidential candidates, right? The Democrats, right? And then Trump's doing a live one, but it's kind of dressed up to just give him the zinger questions and stuff, and he's having more of a time to talk about his point of view of how he feels the country is and where it's going.
So do you think that Trump's is more fair than the Kamala one?
They're both sleazy to me, to be honest.
I mean, yeah, they're definitely both. They're politicians. They're definitely both sleazy. But
it's. I mean, obviously, Kamala was gonna be the presidential runner-up, I thought that it was the second worst person to run for president because we were already talking about Biden leaving because he doesn't look good. Like on camera, he looks like he's like going away.
He's like an old dude. Like anything, like
yeah,
he's
and
gone.
he's president of the United fucking States, and he doesn't look like he's got his head right. And that doesn't look good for the administration. So obviously, you need to put in a different face, and that's Kamala.
I have a prediction.
It's
I
going
think
better
that
than I thought. That's my opinion. It's going better than I actually thought. And then this vice president, he got Tim Walz. Like he seems sharp in the way he talks. He has a lot of like leftist like things that he likes that are right. And also, he supposedly did like positive things for kids. Like they got free school lunches, and he did a lot of good things for his state. So I'm like surprised. I'm like, all right, they're kind of reeling in, and it's kind of working out for the Democrats right now. With Trump, it's like a weird thing because there are people that do like him a lot. A lot of people. There are a lot of people that vote for him, and I even know people that are absolutely intelligent and way smarter than me, and they have Donald Trump's vote because they believe that he does do better when it comes to giving like more money to the country. Where they say like the Democrats like spend a lot more and whatnot.
I would argue that a lot of people, like the people that like weren't for Trump, who are now for Trump, a lot of it has to do with money. I was talking to someone at work yesterday about it, and I was telling them like, oh yeah, a lot of like, you know, people of color, you know, black people are like they're still Democrats, but they're upset with the Democrat Party, so they're voting for Trump. And he was like, what do you mean? Why? And I was like, well, for multiple reasons, but a lot of them seem to be under the impression that they had like more money under Trump than they do now. And then I added like, oh, well, you know, that could be, but also, you know, inflation, you know, so maybe that there's a misconception about that, but I'm not sure. And I worded it like that. And, you know, this individual was just like, oh, well, that's a lie. You know, there wasn't more money. And I was like, well, again, they're under the impression that there was. Again, I'm not going to act like I have the stats right in front of me, you know, to be like, oh, money was definitely better under Trump. It would appear as so. I'll say that, just surface level, like as a normie looking in. Like, again, I think I follow politics maybe more than most of the people in my regular life. Actually, yeah, you always say we hang out of here. You're in my regular life. You don't really bring up politics. I don't know if you give a shit. But most of the people who I know personally, who I interact with personally in my day to day, they're not really that invested. They don't really care. However, I will say this. I've noticed like back in 2020, I remember like just asking questions and stuff kind of sounded a certain way, I guess, coming from me, the certain questions I was asking, and people got like really mad at me. And it was like a whole thing. And, I was like, no. And they're like, oh, are you for Trump? And I was like, well, not necessarily, but like, I'm just saying like this thing looks weird and this thing looks weird. And they said this about him, but turns out that's not true. And, but yeah, you know, this is weird.
Yeah, that's the reason with Russia and stuff that ended up not being really true.
Yeah. Oh no, we lost the Instagram stream, guys. 1 second. Let me get it back for y'all. We lost the Instagram stream. One second. I'm gonna reset up the Instagram stream for you guys. But if you're just now joining us, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to the channel. You can stay updated on streams like this, as well as regular video, semi-regular video uploads. And guys, we are covering the debate September 10th. The debate starts at 9. We will be starting the show at 8 p.m. We're doing the debate drinking game. All right. So please join us for that. It should be up by some point tomorrow. I'll share it on my community tab, and then you guys can hit the bell to be reminded about it, and you can come join us. You can either, watch in the audience, or you can call in, join the panel, and do the drinking game with us. BYOB. You're me. All right. Almost done. I gotta set up the Instagram. Johnski Wonski. Here we go. It's annoying. You know what's crazy? I thought I could have sworn that Instagram was what's it? That they took away that time limit thing. Because they have a time limit on the Instagram streams. Yeah, so like you can stream to Instagram from StreamYard, but what it does is it. Okay, there we go. We're connected. Okay, we're back on Instagram, guys. But yeah, what it does is it like times out after an hour. But I could have sworn last like 3 streams I did, like was it last week before last, those last few streams were like I was on for like 2-3 hours and it didn't kick out. But okay, enough commentary, kids. And again, guys, I'm not gonna lie, there are gonna be certain moments where like I'll stop to nitpick because fair use. We want it to be transformative. We want to go into the conversation. I don't know how many of you have CNN or are watching it, but you can watch the interview right here with us. I'm gonna let it go in a little more. I will be interjecting even as it plays, but we will pause it and we'll be giving commentary here out. Also, again, if you're watching on YouTube, like the video, subscribe to the channel, and call into the show. Call in link is pinned in the chat. If you're watching on Instagram or Facebook, go over to the YouTube channel. If you're on Instagram, link is in my bio. Go there. You'll see the stream. Call into the show. Mike wants Chris. Mike wants you to show your tits.
No.
Okay. So sorry, Mike. It's after hours. It's an after hour show. It's raunchy. It's raw, but no nudity tonight. All right. But if you want to call in, hit that link, man. We'd love to have you because I know Mike. I know Mike is a Kamala Harris fan, and like I said, I'm going into this. I'm rather critical going into it. I'm not gonna lie, guys. So that's me announcing my biases, but I'm hoping that Chris here will keep me balanced. And for any of you watching, if you want to call in, also keep me balanced. Check me. Maybe I'm wrong. Kamala's awesome, right?
We share in values in the child tax credits, one we know that reduces childhood poverty by 1/3. We did it in Minnesota to have a federal partner. Unbelievable, I think, in the impact we can make.
Call the opportunity.
It was kind of corny that her first sit-down interview finally, after she's been kind of getting criticism for not doing a sit-down interview for this long, unscripted, apparently unscripted. I'm not gonna lie, it seemed like she was reading lines, or not reading, but those were learned phrases and statements. But again, I'm being critical, guys. I'm just but I think it's corny that she did it with him first. I think she should have did a sit down by herself, and then from then on, like have him there. Again, he's the VP. Like, get this, I don't want to hear shit from Vance. Like, I don't necessarily care. I mean, get this, that's the one thing I agree with the Democrats about. Like, Vance is weird. He's an odd dude. I don't know why Trump picked him. I have to look more into why he picked him. I'm sure he's stated why, but either way.
Are struggling. And there's a crisis of affordability. Yeah. One of your campaign themes is, but I wonder what you say to voters. Groceries were less expensive. Housing was more affordable when Donald Trump was president.
Well, let's start with the fact that when Joe Biden and I came in office, during the height of a pandemic, we saw over 10 million jobs were lost.
I'll let you know this now. So I've been keeping a tally so far on how many times she mentions Trump when asked the question. Now, I'm willing. I'll circle this one. I'll give a little grace because Dana did mention that in her question. So it would only make sense like if Harris uses him in her response and answer. That's fair, I feel like, because she asked her about it. But I have been keeping a tally because I'm curious and I want to see something. So at the end, we'll tally him up and we'll see. I could be wrong, but I predict that she will mention him almost in every question. So far, she has. She's only been asked 2 questions. That's how long it's taken us to get through this, guys. We're going to make it through. I'm here all night. After hours. Call in. Boom, boom. Like the video.
The economy had crashed. In large part, all of that because of mismanagement by Dr. And today, we know that we have inflation at under 3%. A lot of our policies have led to the reality that America right. Prices, in particular for groceries, are still too high. The American people know it, I know it, which is why my agenda includes what we need to do to bring down the price of groceries. For example, dealing with an issue like price gouging. Well,
okay. So let's talk about the price gouging thing. Chris, have you heard about this? Like her proposal as far as price gouging?
Yeah, and I heard people saying
Wait, Chris, we're having a hard time hearing you. Are you like far away from your mic, or are you using headphones?
Yeah, they used to be clear.
I'm having I don't know if anyone in the audience is having a hard time hearing you. I can't really hear you that well. Yeah, like I can't hear you at all. Like I know you're talking, but like I can't really hear you. Test taking out your headphones and then see.
How about now? Can you hear me now?
Yeah, I can hear you better now.
Oh, okay. That's because it's on the left one. All right, that's very weird.
That might be where the mic is. But yeah, you were saying, so like the price gouging thing. Have you heard about that?
Yeah, I heard of that, and Republicans are saying that that's like a bad move, like to come in and interfere with the way that things like make them lower. It might fuck up the economy, I guess. Am I right about that? I don't know.
Wait, but just from what you've heard, you think it's a bad idea?
I don't know. I don't know. I have no idea. That's just the shit I hear.
I would argue that it kind of just surface level, because again, I haven't read. Again, she doesn't really. At least I checked the other day. She doesn't have like any of her policies or plans laid out on her website as of yet. I don't know. That could have changed in the past. Like I checked like 2 days ago. So maybe like, and she's given this interview. So I would suspect like, so if she doesn't have anything, if she doesn't have like her plans or her campaign, like again, what she's promising on her website by now, I would argue that by tomorrow it'll be up just because of this interview. I would hope so.
The thing she's saying, because the thing that happened too is she just did a rally too, and she's talking about all the things that the left people want. They want abortion to be legal again. They want like all of that stuff, and she's like for it. She's kind of like in the moderate side of the progressive.
I think she's trying to be moderate, and she's trying to. I would argue, from how it looks, she's trying to pander to like people who are, I guess, maybe would identify as being like leftists or like far left, or maybe further left, not far left. Far left is a little extreme.
That's the Tim Walsh guy, because the other thing too is he kind of appeals to the social democrats. Because they like, free lunches for kids. They like, I guess, like more programs done for the people of that state that he was the governor for, So that's who she has on her side. Is if people aren't really too convinced with her, they can just look at him. Because he says he's like really sharp when he's talking. All the like Republicans are calling him weird. Like Trump just said, like he's weird. J.D. Vance is weird. Tim Walsh is really weird. Like J.D. Vance is like a academic. He's a really smart guy. All that stuff. But yeah, sorry, dude. I don't know really much about like the move on whether her doing price gouging is a bad move. Because on the Democrat side, they're saying that it's businesses that are fixing the prices to just say it's inflation, but it's not necessarily.
I think they're saying that. I think, which is that's one reason why I think a lot of people who were
it's like a trap, bro. Like, 'cause then if you don't know what the fuck you're talking about, you can just take it from someone who acts like they are. It's like a bait. Like what I'm saying now. Like, how the fuck do I know like how corporations price their their products and them being less accessible to more people? Like, I don't understand. Like, the concept, wouldn't that make you less money if you make your product like less desirable and more expensive? Like I guess.
Okay, no, but that's a good place to be. So like, I actually, this is why I love, because I love talking to people like you, because like I said, I feel like I would argue that I'm a normie, as far as like politics and stuff. No, I think you're more of a normie than me, and that's more valuable because like, I'm paying a little more attention to it for multiple reasons. And then on top of that, I'm not gonna lie, I do have strong opinions, and
the way that I feel about it is that I'm when it comes to who I'm voting for, I kind of at this point don't give a shit because it's way too muddled for me. Because, like I said, Kamala Harris is the second worst pick in my head because she comes off very disingenuous, and you don't really care about what she talks about. It kind of seems boring, and when she tries to, I'm only talking in the way I saw her in the last election, where she didn't even get close to getting endorsed. She just had
no one. That's what I'm saying. That's one of the main things that confuses me.
The reason why I think she became a candidate is because she'll probably be more of a chance of leaving everything in the status quo the way that Biden was when he was president. Like they're like, she's the next best bet. She's the next best person that could probably like get in line and get to like the neo corporate democratic bullshit. And like the media having more control into what's being said, what's good for you. And like then you have Republican. That's all I'm gonna say. I'm sorry.
No, you're good. No, I think because like you never stricken me as someone that necessarily has any particular strong political beliefs. You seem kind of neutral, just a regular guy going to work, just wants to just chill and watch movies. Like, as long as no one tells you what you can look at on the internet, you seem like you'd probably be pretty fine. I mean, you're probably also upset about prices going up. I mean, I feel like everyone is. Again, eggs, Jesus. You know how many eggs my daughter eats? My daughter likes eggs very much, guys. All right. And like, I eat eggs. We eat eggs every morning. And there was a time when eggs, again, because chickens are plentiful, they're laying them, but again, someone has to gather them, someone has to take care of those chickens, and just the economy things are out of whack. And get this, for normal people, like regular day-to-day people, we don't know. We're not looking at the numbers in books. All we can do is compare and contrast things at one point in time versus another point in time. And what I'm seeing is that at one point in time, eggs were not this high, and now they are high. And I don't know, kids, but I got people saying like, oh, it's because of that guy, but it's been 4 years and the eggs weren't that high again. I keep being told that certain individuals are Hitler. They're the worst thing in the world. They are the end of democracy. All hope is lost. I am being told by certain people that this person is an idiot and a moron who is incompetent, while at the same time he is this maniacal evil genius that's on Lex Luthor levels of competence. And it doesn't make sense. I keep being told certain stories about individuals and events, and then when I look them up for myself and I use my brain, not looking for an answer necessarily. I'm looking for truth. I'm not looking for a particular answer. I just look into it, and I use math and my common sense to piece together what would look like, hey, this thing that everyone is saying is not true. This other thing doesn't line up. Why is it that when this group does something that looks like this, it's not highlighted. But when this group does something similar, it's highlighted to extreme levels. Eggs are high, milk is high, and we are on the brink of World War III. And again, you know what's crazy? Something else that I've noticed, this is lately. But lately, people in my day-to-day who I'm talking to, these are people who are regular in my life, as well as people, passer goers. I work in the service industry, guys. So I meet a lot of people. I talk to a lot of people, different people. Some people I see all the time. Some people I never see again. And the general consensus is that everyone, this is a new thing I've noticed. People are concerned about migrants and immigration. People from elsewhere who are telling me about how things are in certain areas where it's getting crazy. I've got like my brother, for instance, Chris, you know, our brother. He could give a shit about politics. He doesn't pay any attention at all. He's even more normie than anyone who is currently present. And he was telling me about, you know, some people from other places where he knows, and some things that he heard, and he's like, yo, it's crazy. Like it's getting nuts. And these are all things that certain people are telling me are not issues. And the most important thing are these other things, which is not to say that those things aren't important, but that's not what the people are concerned about. And yet they say they're for the people. Let's continue, because I'll keep going. I'll be on this soapbox all day.
Young families be able to take care of their children in their most formative years. What we need includes what would be a tax credit of $25,000 for first-time home buyer.
Now, when she says so, I heard something similar in regards, weird segue or coincidental segue. I heard something similar about now I don't know how true this is. I have to look into this, but as far as migrants, I heard that they are being offered first-time home buyer loans. And this was even explained to me earlier.
By who?
The government. So
I know that. I'm sorry, who did you hear that from?
I saw an independent news outlet talk about it, and then my wife actually, yeah, that's a reliable source. Told me that she heard about it and she expounded on some of the things. So again, I haven't double checked it or fact checked it or anything, but this is what I'm hearing. I don't know how eggs 2024. Yes, Mike. Yes, the eggs. Get this. Even Mike, guys. Mike, you need to call into the show, dude. You don't have to be on camera. I would love for you to call in.
I guess to talk about inflation, it's just like years ago we needed money, so we asked for the Federal Reserve to pay for our problems. So they printed out all the money after all these years, hence inflation, because how the pandemic came out and how so much money was being lost. Like, you remember that day where so much money was being lost that like they like put $1 trillion into the stock market and like they put like a lot of money in it.
We're trillions of dollars in debt. We're so bad with money.
Yeah, but yeah. Anyway, fuck, because I'm losing my train of thought with it. Basically, yeah, with inflation, it's just a lot of money was printed and that, and then they used like Kamala Harris is saying like she walked into like a economy that was collapsed, and then they mended it while she's vice president right now. Like in this term, they mended the stock market, and for Trump to be coming back, he could put it back down. Yeah. Sorry, I'm talking too much.
No. Hey, we're get this. We're only the like it's I'm looking. This is the live like broadcast, but like we've been pausing it the whole time. Like the interview's probably over by now, but we're gonna keep. Actually, do you have to use the restroom or anything?
No.
Well, I do. So, kids, here's what we're gonna do. We're gonna take a very, very, very brief break. And when I say a brief break, I mean like the briefest, like real brief. So we will be right back after these messages. This is Spro Show After Hours. Like, share, and subscribe. Hey, we're back, kids. Didn't you know that we're back? We back at it. We back at it again. But yeah. One second, let me turn the vibes down. There we go. All right, so we're back, kids. Welcome to the Spro Show. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to the channel. Stay updated. And also, guys, we have an open panel. So if you go to the YouTube channel, if you look in the comment section, there is a link pinned there. You can call into the show and you can join me and Crispy. You're me. You're me. But we are watching Kamala Harris's first interview on CNN. Let's get back into it.
A home, which is part of the American dream and their aspiration, but do it in a way that
3.5 years.
Yeah. Well, first of all, we have
Oh, good question.
to recover as an economy, and we have done that. I'm very proud of the work that we have done that has the cost of insulin at $35 a month for seniors. Donald Trump said he was going to do a number of things, including allowing Medicare to negotiate drug prices. Never happened. We did it. So now, as I travel in the state of Georgia and around our country, the number of seniors that have benefited, I was in Nevada recently, a grandmother who showed me her receipts. And before we capped the cost of insulin for seniors at $35 a month, she was paying hundreds of dollars up to thousands of dollars a month for her insulin.
Well, that's insulin.
She's
what
not
about
doing
eggs?
that
You
anymore.
maintain Bidenomics is a success.
I maintain that when in capping the cost.
Wait, Grant, did you see that? Oh, you're muted. Wait, did you see that? Did you see Walls?
No, I didn't.
Wait, watch. Wait. Let me take it back.
Hundreds of dollars up to thousands of dollars a month for her insulin. She's not doing that anymore.
You maintain Bidenomics is a success.
I maintain
You
that
better
when
answer right,
we
bitch.
do the work.
Look. He's like, yeah. So what are you gonna say? Stick to the script. like that. Look, guys. Again, I'm poking the bear. I'm just being. It's fun. It's for fun.
What are you saying? You saying he's like got real control over what's going on?
I think so. In my opinion, I think that there's a reason why they had him there with her doing this. I think there's a reason why it's pre-recorded. I think there's a reason why to make her look good. And just from what I've seen on CNN, I will say this: the CNN journalists have been doing a far better job at being critical. It would appear, look at this, the past 3-4 months has been probably the most unbiased that they've been in a long time. Yet I would still argue CNN is incredibly biased because in every single criticism they hurl out, there's grace given. But when they talk about other candidates, there's no grace given. And again, guys, that doesn't mean that the criticisms made towards Trump are not valid or reasonable or understandable or true. You feel me? But it's the weird kind of. I don't like bias. I don't like hypocrisy. I don't like bullshit. In my opinion, this party reeks of it. But yeah. Let's continue. I just thought that was funny, how I looked at her.
Bringing down prescription medication for the American people, including capping the cost of the annual cost of prescription medication. I think it's $2,000. When we do what we did in the first year of being in office to extend the child tax credit so that we cut child poverty
This is just
in America
repeating the
50%.
same shit
When we
they've
do
been
what
repeating.
we have done to invest in the American people and manufacturing back to the United States so that we created over 800,000 manufacturing jobs, bringing business back to America. What we have done to improve the supply chain so we're not relying on foreign governments to supply American families with their needs.
That's good. We stand on some key policy issues.
There's more to
energy
do,
is a big
kids.
one. When you were in Congress, you supported the Green New Deal. And in 2019, you said, quote, "There is no question I'm in favor of banning fracking." Fracking, as you know, is a pretty big issue, particularly in your must-win state of Pennsylvania. Do you still want to ban fracking?
No, and I made that clear on the debate stage in 2020, that I would not ban fracking. As vice president, I did not ban fracking. As president, I will not ban fracking.
In 2019, I believe, in a town hall, you said
You
were asked,
did.
would you commit to implementing a federal ban on fracking in
did.
your first day in office? And you said, there's no question I'm in favor of banning fracking.
Good
Yes.
job,
So
Dana.
it changed in that campaign?
So, guys, look,
In 2020,
I don't know if I
very
don't know if
clear.
it's Dana Patrick. Like, I don't. But I will say this: I have heard from critics, and get this, they're critics of the Democratic Party. They're people who want Trump to win. They're Trumpers. They're like, oh, like the MAGA group. They're like, oh, she's doing it on CNN and it's pre-recorded. Like I said, now I also critical of it being on CNN, critical of it being pre-recorded. But then they're like, oh, and Dana's doing it. Oh, well, Dana's a shill. She's a propagandist. I would argue that Dana, get this, let's say Dana is in favor of, let's say that Dana's in favor. Let's say that Kamala's the candidate that she's more in favor of. Let's say that she's decided to vote, She's a journalist at the end of the day, man. And honestly, an interview like this, considering all the traffic, even if Dana wants Kamala to win, I think the journalists, I would like to think that the journalist side would trump that, pun intended. And yeah, that was a good question. That's a good question. Honestly, yeah, let's just keep going. Let's keep going.
I stand. We are in 2024, and I've not changed that position, nor will I going forward. I
But
kept
that's
my
not
word,
what
and
you
I will
said
keep
in
my word.
2019.
What made you change that position at the time?
Well, let's be clear. My values have not changed. I believe it is very important that we take seriously what we must do to guard against what is a clear crisis in terms of the climate. And to do that, we can do what we have accomplished thus far. The Inflation Reduction Act, what we have done to invest.
Why did you change your mind?
Probably $1 trillion over the next 10 years, investing in a clean energy economy.
Why
what
did
we've
you
already
change your
done,
mind?
creating over 300,000 new clean energy jobs.
Yeah.
That tells me, from my experience as vice president, we can do it.
That doesn't
Tie-breaking
answer
vote.
why you changed your
That
mind.
actually increased leases for fracking.
Yeah.
As vice president. So I'm very clear about where I stand.
And was there some policy or scientific data that you saw that, okay, I get it?
What I have seen is that we can grow and we can increase a thriving clean energy economy without banning fracking.
Another issue, big one, is immigration. As vice president, you were tasked with addressing the root causes of migration in southern countries and
northern part of Central America.
The northern part of Central America that affects the southern border of the U.S.
Okay.
During the Biden-Harris administration,
The juicy stuff, kids.
there were record numbers of illegal border crossings. Why did the Biden-Harris administration wait 3.5 years to implement sweeping asylum restrictions?
Well, first of all, the root causes work that I did as vice president, that I was asked to do by the president, has actually resulted in a number of benefits, including historic investments by American businesses in that region. The number of immigrants coming from that region has actually reduced since.
Chris, does she seem nervous to you? Or am
I
I
think
looking in, like, am I wanting to see her nervous?
No, they're giving her difficult questions, but they're giving her difficult questions, but they're not like making her like stop. Like she's doing fine so far. I can't really
Okay,
tell.
maybe that could be my bias. Okay, because like to me, it seems like not like scared, like nervous, but like. You know what? I'll say this. It seems like she's definitely irritated by the questions. If anything. Slightly irritable, like, oh, here we go, this again. if anything.
It's questions that she has to answer to be clear with, so she can get more voters. So they're like, "What do you feel?"
And
about
she's probably
fracking?
been seeing this, you know,
No,
people
the
talking about
fracking,
it.
no to the fracking, and then it's like, all right.
It's like, yo, look, I can't say that I changed my mind on fracking, but I also can't say like I lied. Which I'm not gonna lie, I understand that, because get this, clearly, and she brought it up again. She got out of it, and Dana, whatever, just moved on. But she didn't. I'll give her this. That was a good way. She got out of it. Like, she didn't. At the same time, she explained herself while not admitting or making it seem as though she lied. Like, she didn't answer her question directly. Like, even when because Dana kind of had a good comeback where she was like, "Oh, well, what changed? Did you see any new data?" And yeah, I would say Kamala definitely answered her question well, but she didn't. She did it without.
She gave a political answer. You know what I mean? Like, she didn't answer the question direct.
And get this, you know what? I'm gonna do a second tally for when Kamala answers a question right. I'm gonna give her 2 already, because like a little earlier, I forget what it was specifically, but I was like, all right, good for you. So we're gonna do a tally on how many times she mentions Trump, and then how many times there's a win for her where, you know, she answers a question, even if it is like in a sleazy politician way, but like, credit where credit is due, kids. Again, they're all sleazy politicians, so even Trump. So we can't give Trump a thumbs up when he says something funny or like excuse me, something funny or based or whatever that proves a point, and then not do the same for the other side. So that's something I will stand on. Let's continue.
We began that work, but I will say this, that worked with you, that is very significant to the American people and to our security, which is the border. And through bipartisan work, including some of the most conservative members of the United States, which we supported, which I on the border. And let me tell you something, the Border Patrol endorsed the bill. And I'm sure in large part.
That's interesting. Now, something I probably should look a little more into, because I know it's like a big hot button topic. I mentioned it earlier. It is the immigration thing. Like I said, I've only been like talking to, you know, just regular people from different cities. Some of them sanctuary cities where we've been hearing that the immigration and migrant problem is like an issue. Her saying that things that she's proposed, or like, you know, the Biden-Harris administration have proposed, were approved and agreed with by the majority of you know, the guys on the front lines. That's interesting. I would say that that's something to look into, because that I mean, it could be a lie, again, politician guys, or a truths omitted, but if that is the case, then yeah, I think like that'd be something worth looking into if the Border Patrol as a majority were in favor of it.
1,500 more agents would help them. That bill would have allowed us to increase seizures of fentanyl. Ask any community in America concern and a pain that they've experienced.
So you would push that legislation again. I just want to ask.
Only push it. I will make sure that it comes to my desk and I would sign it.
Just one other question about something that you said in 2019 when you first ran. And there was a debate. You raised your hand when asked whether or not the border should be decriminalized. Do you still believe that?
I believe there should in this race who actually served a border state as Attorney General to enforce our laws, and I would enforce our laws as president going forward. I recognize the problem.
Some of the changes that you've made, that you've explained some of here in your policy, is it because you have more experience now and you've learned more about the information? Is it because you were running for president in a Democratic primary? And should they feel comfortable and confident that what you're saying now is going to be your policy moving forward?
Let us know,
Dan,
Kamala.
I think the most my policy perspective and decisions is my values have not changed. You mentioned
I
the Green
do
New
because
Deal.
I recognize. I keep pausing, guys, but come on, we have to. She's gonna expound, right? But just from the first statement, my values have not changed. Now, here I'm gonna give Chris. I want to hear how you would interpret it, and I'll ask the question a little more concise. But just from that, your values have not changed. Now, it is very possible that your quote underlying values have not changed. So you're still in favor of, the people, the middle class, the disenfranchised. Like, and I'm just giving those examples. She didn't make those claims that's those are her values or that's where she lies. I don't think she would necessarily deny any of that. But
in the beginning of this interview, she said that her first focus would be on middle class families.
Okay, so she has mentioned already in the same thing that the people
right off the rip, which some Republicans would say is like a Marxist approach. Like that's how usually the communists start.
I think extremists would say that's a Marxist. Now get this, there's plenty of other things personally that I could argue, that I think we could argue that we've heard from Kamala Harris that are quote Marxists. But some people, I would argue that some people, even in the audience, probably don't see anything wrong with that. Marx, the commie thing. That's a whole.
Dude, I was laughing.
That's a whole other stream.
Tim Walz looked like he looked like her dad sitting next to her in the principal's office. That's how he looked.
Yeah, yo, like get this. He looks like the dad of.
I forgot he was there because he wasn't even fucking talking. I was like, oh shit, yeah, he's there with her.
Get this, Kamala Harris.
Stopping the fucking video, right? And it's like it's going on for so long. I forgot he was even fucking there. Like, how long is this interview, by the way?
Well, okay, so the broadcast was on for an hour. There are ads, I'm assuming. I don't know how ads work. I'm watching on YouTube TV. I never use YouTube TV.
It's probably literally just 60 minutes. Like, it's a program.
Yeah, probably something like that. I do want to, guys, and Chris, if you have to leave, just let me know. But I'm going. Okay, cool. We're going through the whole thing. We're going.
The way that it's structured, it feels like it's just more of an how do you say? It's something to drive up her campaign. That's what this interview is like, basically.
Well, I would argue that's what even if Trump, let's say Trump did a sit down pre-recorded interview with CNN, obviously it's to help the campaign. It's to address the voters, address their concerns, stuff like that. The reason why this is interesting is, one, again, as mentioned in the beginning of the program, we've never seen anything like this in history. That's number one. Number two, I think this wasn't addressed, but in my personal opinion, I think it's interesting the individual who we're talking about, where this thing that's never happened in history, right? The individual who's the center piece of this was not very well liked, literally up until she was even in question, which was about going on probably almost 2 months now, right? So that's the biggest thing for me. And I think I don't know if you saw the other 2-3 streams I did, because we pretty much, guys, as far as live streams, they're gonna be. I have one standalone video that addresses like kind of politic-y stuff. The rest of them are literally cartoons and weird stuff again. Oh, and the Kanye video is coming, but that's another thing. It's she, in my opinion, like I'm just flabbergasted at. I don't understand the hype. Like, and I even like my last stream, I gave like a disclaimer, like, yo, like my personal opinions and politics aside, even let's say I was really like semi far left leaning, modern Democrat, right? I would be like, just knowing my personality, I would be upset that Kamala Harris, like I would have the same questions. I'd be like, what the hell? She's not, like, again, objectively, I would argue objectively, because again, it's not the kind of thing that I could pull up data. Objectively, no one liked her. She's not particularly interesting. And it was already hard for her being a Democrat who also was a prosecutor, considering the modern climate. And if I'm honest, I would say that probably hurt her more than the other elephant in the room, which is everyone is aware she does not do good in live, off the dome interview speaking settings. She just doesn't, objectively, guys, in comparison to like other politicians or world leaders, figures who have been in her position or in the same like sphere. Like she just isn't. There are plenty of politicians who I'm not fans of, whether it be that I lived through their administration or I heard about them in history, but I can tell you if they were cool or liked or not, or if they, like, even the unlikable ones. What do we got? Reagan, Nixon. I think generally, like, pop culture wise, they're not necessarily liked, but like there was shit to like about them. You feel me? Like even with them, she is not interesting to me. This is my opinion, and I'm confused.
Let me tell you the thing I think about it with Kamala Harris. I think if people are more into getting rid of Trump, and Kamala's job is to convince you why she's the best candidate to get, like, to basically beat Trump. That's pretty much what it is. For some people, they just want to get rid of Trump, and they don't really care. Like, they think the better alternative is not having a guy that potentially is going to be a dictator. Like, they really, like.
So people are basing their vote more off of who they hate and who they don't like on a personal level instead of the candidate.
For some people, that January 6th shit still hits them the way that other people don't see it. Like, other people think that it was like it was just an act because I don't know. Some people said it was staged by Antifa. And I don't want to talk about that.
Wait, what was staged by Antifa?
The January 6th riot. That it was
okay, so the January 6th thing, I think it was a combination. It was a bad combination of multiple things. However, I don't think that it is, believe it or not, even though with, again, the footage and stuff, I've looked into it more than I have other things, but I would argue have not done enough research to be like, oh yeah, without a doubt. However, something shady is. I don't think it's the kind of thing that it's been kind of made to look like in the media. However, it is really serious. There was a lot of drooling shit that happened. A lot of people need to be punished for things that happened. But then there's all these other things where there's enough receipts to at least consider it in the conversation. I'm not gonna lie. It's like, and this is just from my personal research looking into it. There are, because a piece of me, like, just going into it, because I'm like, okay, I don't trust the current regime. So, like, I'm already kind of at a weird place going in bias-wise, thinking, like, okay, I can't really trust anything to say. But at the same time, I'm like, okay, well, I don't really necessarily trust the other side either. So I need to really look at it. And again, the January 6th thing, definitely, again, I feel like clearly, because we have like video footage, a lot of bullshit happened that day. However, here's one thing. I do not think that Trump knowingly said and worded things the way he did to incite the kind of violence that was seen and that is said about that day. I think he wanted to stir the pot, definitely, and cause pressure. But I think that people, the people that like drew that day, like the people that were drawing and like during the insurrection, again, I don't even know if I want to call it an insurrection. Like it's weird. It's so weird because it's only because of all the different things in the pot, whether it be possibilities, things that we definitely know, things that are murky. Because
it was an insurrection because it's like they stormed the Capitol, they went in, and then Secret Service shot at whoever was going to go over that gate, and it was a girl that did it. She went over. And they shot her.
Okay. So if that's a definition, then we can say it was a insurrection.
It was happening live, and people were saying what was going on. They're like, "All right, they're storming the Capitol. Holy shit, we got one person dead. I think 3 people died." Like when I was like going through that shit live, and like I was hearing no response from Trump. Like, yo, and then he did finally. He's like, "Everybody go home. Like, I love you guys." I remember that shit was fucking crazy.
But what the narrative that is spun is, because again, it's very hard to make an argument for the bullshit that took place, and we don't even need to address what the bullshit was. But I would say that
address it to me. What is the bullshit? I'm sorry.
I don't think that the things that took place or what is said was the intention or goal was the intention. I'll say that's how I feel about it. Like I don't think that Trump was trying to. Sorry.
Trump wasn't trying to like have people storm the Capitol and like try to find like tents to him, because he was in that chamber while they were outside, and then like shit just went nuts. And motherfuckers had to move. You know what I mean? Like that's kind of the stuff with that. Because he was
that's what I think. I don't think that he was trying to pressure.
Trump wasn't doing anything as it was happening. So one of the thoughts in my head was like he's watching it and going like, let's see if it works out. And then they're like, yo, do something. Like go on Twitter, do something. Like speak about it. It was nothing fumble. But I don't know how long it was until he did make that video and go like, everybody go home. Because that same day he talked about being in the Capitol, but they're gonna cheer on. Like he didn't go like, guys, go over there and wreck it. He didn't say that. And I think that's like one of the things they were going to court for at a certain point. Like they were talking through that to see if he was actually trying to like take the election that way. Like some people say like kill democracy and like literally stop a guy from certifying an election and be like, you know what, this is gonna stop now.
Because that's something that I think is a fair criticism. Like people are saying, like, oh well, when you say certain things, like you don't know who's listening, and like certain things.
His rhetoric is he's just not. He says whatever the fuck comes out of his mouth. Like sometimes when a person is like when someone's a high figure, like President of the United States, like usually you have advisors tell you how to say something or not to say something. I think he has those things too. It's just more like.
I think he doesn't listen to them all. I think in the beginning he didn't listen to them all the time, and then I think his advisor started to realize that like the common man, as it were, like people on the street, they responded positively to that, so they told him to lean more into it. And now it's at a point, like even if you look at the numbers now, last time I checked the numbers, Kamala and Donald were they were like neck and neck, like it's
neck with like the election, like, and it's crazy. She's like, because Joe Biden was losing Like it's like, yo, Trump's gonna beat him. Like that's it. And then she came and she just like.
I think here's what I argue. I think what you said earlier about like a lot of people are kind of just like they just hate Trump, so they just don't want him in. So, however, I think Biden, it was very clear and apparent. People were like, dude, he literally doesn't even know where he is. I don't think that I would argue that people, it would appear as though the Trump hatred is so heavy that people who, hate him to that degree, they can recognize like, oh, this guy doesn't know what room he's in. This lady knows what room she's in, but she's obviously like she would be a terrible president, or she just isn't. And that's another thing. If you say Kamala Harris isn't qualified, people are like, "Oh, her resume." That's all I've been hearing. Anyone who I know in my personal life who's like, "Oh, I'm with her," right? That's her slogan or whatever, or some shit. I'm with her. All they tell me, they just give me her resume. And get this, none of it is like shit she did as VP over the past 4 years. It's like, oh, she was the attorney general, and she was a prosecutor, and she was a cop, and she sent a bunch of black guys to jail for dime bags of weed. like that's all I freaking hear. And again, there's nothing wrong. Yeah, I'm not gonna sit here and be like, oh, she's not an accomplished, successful, intelligent woman. Obviously, she is. But like president of the United States, she hasn't been a very good VP. And I would argue that anything good that came from the Biden-Harris administration was on the Biden half.
Name the bad things that happened, like with her being vice president. What is the?
I can't necessarily so I'm looking at it again as a normie, right? So like just culturally, I'm like, yo, like I haven't really. I remember when Biden was elected, right? Everyone was all happy, right? And for like 2 years after that, we saw Kamala a lot. And I remember memes. I remember me, myself, personally seeing like different things with her and making fun of it. My wife, and I've been asking everyone in my life, like people who I talk to, I'm like, yo, do you ever remember me making a joke about Kamala Harris? And they're like, yeah. And I'm like, yo. So like it's so bizarre because like there's so many things that I said about her that critics of her are now saying, and then on top of that, it kind of goes against like, because again, literally like a year and a half ago, I'm pretty sure I commented and said some shit along the lines of like, yo, her own party doesn't even like her, because it was apparent, it was clear. Well, like it was like, yeah, that's where I'm having difficulty. And again, kids, yes, I have my biases. I'm not, again, in the air about who I want to vote. Well, who I wanted to vote for is.
She's been vice president this whole time. Maybe that's how she got her respect.
I think that's one how she got her respect, but there's a few other reasons why I think.
That's why I'm so surprised that it didn't work out the way it did. Because, like I said, she's the second worst to me, but she's not coming off as bad. And it's like, oh, okay, like it seems fine.
Wait, quick question: do you think that Dana will at some point in this interview mention the comments about her race?
I don't know.
Okay, cool. Because I'll save some more opinions.
Really
Let's keep.
I'm fixated towards because, as far as I know, it's like Jamaican and
Again, okay. So the race thing. Oh shit! 1 second, kids. Sorry. I went to touch my mouse and it flung off my desk. Anyway, Kamala's race.
I don't think anybody should vote for race or gender, whatever it may be.
You would think that, but Chris, let me ask you a serious, honest question. And B is real as far as your understanding and what you've seen and what you know. Do you think, would you say that it's fair? Would you say that it's possible that some of Kamala's, the hype around her and the support is because of her race and gender?
Nah.
From some voters. From some.
I mean, it's hard to deduce like this type of question you ask it, because it's like, I guess we could talk in a majority sense, and I think it's like half and half, because as much bad as you hear about Trump and what's going on now, there's still half of the country that wants him to run, you know. And it's polarized. For me personally, is that you shouldn't vote for race or gender or anything of that sort.
Well, no, we shouldn't. But I'm asking you, do you think that some will base their vote off of those reasons?
Sure, but like what I'm trying to say is that you should vote more for the policies of that person, what they're willing to bring into the table. And like when it comes to Trump, I only criticize it towards like the 4 years we had him as president. And for the first half, everything was like cool. Like even when it got near to us going to World War III, like starting war with Iran, like things ended up okay. And King Jong-un. The only thing is he had a horrible rhetoric. It's like the way he said shit didn't come off right. It's like politicians just don't talk like this, and they don't have state of addresses in front of fucking helicopters. You know, like there was just at a certain point it was just tumultuous and obnoxious, and that's what I took it as. You know what I mean? And then when it came to COVID, and he gave only the states the decision to do whatever they wanted, and didn't really offer any sense of leadership when something so fucked up was happening and confusing. Like that's where my look of Donald Trump went the other way. Like I'm like, I might as well vote for anybody else but this guy, because he's not giving a leader type of attitude. You know what I mean? And him coming back now after 4 years of this presidency of Joe Biden, it was really like the Democrats like running ship, I guess, like the full 4 years, because him being as senile as he is, obviously, like you might already had Kamala doing her thing, you know what I mean? I don't fucking know. But yeah, my interest into who I'm ever gonna vote for is based on what's happening in Palestine and like this war, like innocent people getting hurt. Like I want to see like who's willing to do a ceasefire for that. And
so do you think that look like, what does that look like to you? Like, do you think that means us getting more involved, or do you think we need to pull out?
The interesting thing that happened with Trump is he said if he was president, that attack against Israel would have never happened. He said that like real rap. He's like with me in office, you would have never had to worry about anybody like flipping, because we would have been on check with everybody. So
I mean, he says
it didn't happen, but he gave an interesting outlook on it, saying that if you would have let me be more tough on terrorism around the world, you wouldn't have a genocide happening in Palestine. That was like his response in talking about it. And Kamala is just sort of like, I don't know, it's like, are you gonna keep giving weapons to Israel to fucking attack? Like,
well, she's in a weird place now because a lot of people, which I'm sure you heard, like at the DNC, there was tons of protests, and again, she's in a weird place for multiple reasons. I would argue, her in particular, because it's like, so because it would appear as though, at least, okay, so from my personal experience in my life, people who I know who are Democrat or who are voting Democrat, they're like, they're pro-Palestine, and they don't think that America should be helping Israel, you know, stuff like first of all, okay, so we already know like what surface level, like what each side, you know, kind of feels, and one side has a reason to feel the way that they feel, and then the other side is just going to go against whatever the other side says. With Kamala, I remember that was something that I don't know how true it was, but people were saying like, oh, you know, she's not going to pick, you know, Shapiro to be her VP because he's Jewish, and you know, people would take that as some kind of it's weird. It's weird even saying it out loud, like, because it's like, and again, this isn't necessarily my opinions. These are like things that other people have said, and like, but then when you hear it, it's like I could see that, especially with politics. And I don't know if you know this, her husband's Jewish.
Yeah, that's what I mentioned that like a few seconds ago. Yeah, her husband's Jewish. So like that's strange. Like,
so it's a weird kind of and get this, it doesn't mean like just because her husband's Jewish, guys, it doesn't mean that he's necessarily like oh in favor, like, oh, Israel's completely in the right, or you know, like like that doesn't mean anything. But like you have to understand, like this is how like the way the public's looking at it, that's how it looks. And honestly, I would you know what, I'm gonna give her a point.
She's under Joe Biden's administration, and they're the people that are getting weapons to Israel.
No, look, I'm gonna be fair, and I'm gonna give her a point. Even though I'm gonna continue with the interview in a second, but like I'm gonna give her a point is doing good, just because like I'm gonna keep it a buck. I feel bad for her because she's in a weird position. She's an ex-prosecutor who's a Democrat, and the war thing, the Middle East, it's really touchy right now.
She's in a position where she wants to be. She wants to be president. This is her ambition.
I mean, I think she wants to be president, but I think
it's not rude to her. It's fucking successful. She's doing good.
She's in an awkward position. Wouldn't you agree, man? Like Israel, Jewish husband, like.
Well, no, that's just putting too much thought into it. Like it's just like the policies that these candidates are.
No, so I agree with you there. Those, oh, Chris, honestly, yeah, God bless you. So like those are the important things. Those are the things that we should be focusing on. I'm gonna let you know right now, and I know this for a fact. That's not how the election is going to be determined. Most people, most regular people, they're not looking at the policy. And get this, I know this because I've been talking to people for like weeks that fall on multiple ends. Most people don't even know where the person who they're in favor of stand on certain things, or they think one thing, but like, you know, maybe someone like me who maybe does a little extra research and looks into it, you know, tells them like, oh, this isn't the case. And no matter what you put in front of them, they just have their opinion because they're so opposed. And again, this is the Trump people. This is the Harris people. They're so against the opposition. They don't even care. They don't care like what it is. So like, it doesn't even matter what it is. Obviously it should be the policies and like, again, the lesser of the two evils, you know, like who seems like they would be probably better in this position based off of everything. But this is a weird one because it's like there are very blatant things going on for either side, you know, like that's shady, and it's like it's gotten to a level of cartooniness where it's like very obvious, but like people on both sides just don't see it, and it's like really funny. Let's continue, kids, because yeah, we got some time left in this.
Always believed, and I worked on it, that the climate crisis is real, that it is an urgent matter to which we should on time. We did that with the Inflation Reduction Act. We have set goals for the United States of America, and by extension, reduction of greenhouse gas emissions, as an example. That value has not changed. My value around what we need to do to secure our border, that value has not changed. I spent 2 terms as the Attorney General of California prosecuting transnational criminal organizations, violations of American.
That her punishing criminals, you know, for, you know, like what she just said, like international crimes. I don't think that's the same as the border control and migrant concerns of the American people and the concerns and rebuttal from the opposition. Personally, surface level. Again, we're normies, guys.
Yeah, do you know anything about the Inflation Reduction Act? Like, maybe look up on like a second window or something. I can't.
I don't. Again, she's naming things that are like already in place, and like, I mean, these are things that are like, if we don't know about them, worth looking into.
I would imagine, yeah. Well, I would look into it just to see, like, how do both sides see it? Like, how do Democrats see that? Is that something that, or is that, at the end of the day, something that helped out? Like, she's saying it did good. But
That I would say that the Inflation Reduction Act, like, even her mentioning it, even if we don't understand, like, or know what that is, that still doesn't necessarily
like
answer the question.
to reduce inflation over time. That's what it sounds like. Like, and then she's saying that that's a good thing, but then I wanted to, like, I don't know shit about it. I'm just asking. If you
Oh, okay, yeah. I guess you're looking at it more like as far as like what she has said. I'm looking at it back from like the question that Dana asked.
see if she's being truthful or not. Like, was this helpful? And then be like, bullshit, or no? Be like, yeah, that was a good thing.
I would argue Kamala's gonna both not tell the truth and also not lie at the same time, which I would argue that's. It would appear as though that's what. But I expect every politician, especially you get a pre-recorded interview, you know, where you have your running mate with you. I would do the same thing, personally.
I wish I could watch this video, but I'm gonna be honest with you, Shannon. This whole show, I have not been able to really watch the video. It hits like a motherfucker for me. But I catch like little bits of what she's saying.
Wait, can you hear it or you can't see it?
No, like I can see it, like I can see frames, right? But then it skips the entire time.
Can you hear it?
I can hear it, but then it cuts off, and then it comes back, and it catches up to what she says, but that's just too distracting. Personally,
it might be on my end.
I would have a better criticism of this, like, if I had no interruptions and I just watched the shit for what it is, and then at a certain point stop
Oh well, yeah. Well, because we're doing it on the stream, I have to. I do have commentary I want to add, but then two, to avoid, so we can get the money. And yeah, we want it to be transformative and entertaining. Because get this, get this, kids. Go ahead, watch the interview for yourself. Get your own. I would rather that. I mean, if you're watching it with us right here, you know, in real time, we appreciate you. But yeah, like with anything, especially with things like of political matters, go look at it for yourself and get like your own idea. And then I would argue that it's good to look at things like this, where people they're giving their opinions in real times or reacting, and look at them from different perspectives. Because so like I went into this and I was like, oh, I already, you know, from the rip, I'm kind of going into it like I think it's kind of shady, right? So like going into it, I have like certain biases, and that means I'm probably gonna be looking for things, but you know, at the same time, I want to exercise critical thinking, and I want to look at it and be like, and give grace where grace can be given, and just really just listen and see if we can get something from this. Again, this is the Democratic nominee. This is her first like sit down, you know. So she's addressing concerns, and there have been a lot of concerns that have been piling up in the past few weeks, and she's addressing them. So like credit there.
What do you like about Donald Trump?
Like as a person, or like why I think I might vote for him?
Why do you think you might vote for him? Like, why would you rather vote for him?
Again, I am one of those people that is under the impression it would appear as though money was better. It would appear as though I had more money and things didn't cost as much under him. But again, that's why I'm wording it the way it is. It would appear as though.
The way I see it is
also the foreign policy stuff, even from before, I thought was really good. I feel like it wasn't executed completely. Also, he wants to, from what he has said and claimed, He wants to completely pull out of like the Ukraine, Russia shit. He wants to pull out all the shit in the Middle East. He wants to pull out. He is favorable to Israel. I think that is apparent. So he does have bias, but it would appear as though that the things that he's putting in place, that he's claiming he'll put in place, and like his opinions on certain things that are going on, as far as in regards to war, let's get that down as, yeah, let's like fuck that. Also, we're trillions of dollars in debt. Energy is also a thing. Fracking, again, I get it, bad for the environment, but when you look at like the other things, the other alternatives are very, very expensive, and then the materials needed for those things also do come from natural resources. And not only is it expensive, but it does just as much damage, if not equal, to the other things we're doing, just maybe not at the same rate. And it just doesn't make sense. So like, yeah, I think, yeah, drill, baby, drill. I think, yeah, because it just makes sense. Also the migrant thing, it's a little weird. It's getting ridiculous. Again, we want people to come in. I've never heard Trump once say that he doesn't want more people to come in and pour money into the economy. You feel that's why I worded it like that. No one wants that. You know, every president wants people to come in. However, there has to be some kind of like it is getting weird and ridiculous. Like even for a layman, a normie, just looking at a surface level, just the amount of people, like there's nowhere for them to even be. Take out the rumors and claims of like, you know, the intention being to give these people benefits and healthcare and loans off of American tax dollars, you know, like taxpayers. Take all that out of it. Where are they going to be? There's people in tents, like there's news stories, guys, and this is real stuff. Migrants like out of desperation breaking in to people's homes, like American citizens. Again, this doesn't mean that the migrants are bad people necessarily, but like, again, you put humans in certain situations, like things happen. I would just say it's irresponsible how we're going about it. And Trump is saying that like, yo, he recognizes that's irresponsible. And again, it's weird because I'll hear like, oh, Trump is racist and he wants to keep immigrants out. But it's like, well, no, yes, we want people to come in. It needs to be looked at again. Or I hear like, oh, this is something that came out yesterday. I was talking to somebody. It's like, oh, Trump's against women's rights. And for those who may be confused, women's rights apparently is defined as abortion rights. And I've heard it been called reproductive rights, but I think that's a weird. I don't know, that statement doesn't seem right because reproductive. Either way, and Trump, again, I've seen multiple, like there's so many different statements, there's so many different clips I've seen. Trump is actually pro-choice. He agrees with the Roe v. Wade situation. It would appear as though he's someone that wants a compromise of sorts. He said that if it were up to him, he does want it to be up to the states individually, but he wants to put some kind of legislation in place to where in the event of rape and incest, you know, you're good for an abortion regardless of your state decision. Or at least there will be things in place to help someone get that kind of care in the event of that kind of situation if they want it. And then also he wants to put like a 6-month cap on it. So like even in places where like, you know, if a state agrees that, you know, a woman can get, quote, reproductive care there, it would just have to be within the 6-month gestation period, like in which you can decide and get the procedure done. Again, a lot of people, again, I think with the abortion thing, guys, we live in the kind of country we live in. Some people don't want it, some people do. So we got to meet some kind of compromise. In my personal opinion, I thought the overturning of Roe v. Wade and the decision the Supreme Court made was kind of the perfect compromise. However, months have passed, year two, however long it's been. Add a few more things in there, kind of like how I meant. Like I think Trump's idea about like basically it sounds like safe, legal, and rare, which that's what it used to be. So 6 months, boom, that's fair enough. I think a compromise, and then also rape and incest, you get that automatically, regardless of whatever your state says. And again, those are the claims, and this is every presidential candidate makes a claim, but we can only go off of things that they claim. So like when I hear that, I'm like, that sounds like a compromise. Kamala is just like all across the board, 12 months. We know that Waltz, he's also, I don't know how true it is, but I heard someone say, they're probably full of shit, but they were like, oh, he said like even after birth, like 12 months plus. And I'm like, that doesn't even make sense. But that's bullshit.
That's not abortion.
But yeah, that's not an abortion.
You're basically saying he's cool with killing 1-year-olds. Like what?
But I do know that Kamala Harris is up to like 12 months. Again, which for me, I'm like, I feel like that's extreme.
Yeah.
So when you have one side that's like all or nothing, and then the other side is like, look, we can do this and some of this. Does that make everyone
happy? I'm definitely saying like if you leave the states up to it on whether they want abortion legal or not.
Which again, that's what we got now. But every time I mention that, someone tells me like, oh well, they're basically letting it be up to the different states is also somehow bad. I honestly don't know, like, because I can't. But then at the same, I get this. I'm told that I can't comment on it because I'm a man, right? Because it has nothing to do with me. But if I'm in favor of it, people want to hear me keep talking. It's weird. Let's keep going, guys, because again, we have a lot of this interview to keep going through. And
I personally think abortion should be legal for people that it needs to be done to, because I've heard that there's been like stillbirth for people where even having a baby, it could like kill you.
Well, yeah, stuff like that. I don't think that's an abortion, like a stillbirth. Like as far as like I guess having I would argue that's a different procedure. A dead fetus being removed.
I've heard some complaints years ago about that being outlawed. Like, it doesn't matter. You're still gonna have the baby because they don't have abortion. I'm like, that's fucking absurd.
There are probably some places that are like really like they could be super religious or just super weird about certain things where I could see them arguing that. But I think like most
that's the argument they make, that it's like things like that. The whole.
I would argue that most like human beings with some kind of common sense would
yeah, there are people that are really compassionate about that subject. Like they're like, a life is a life, regardless whether it was conceived 2 days ago. It's still a life, and you don't have a right to kill it.
Yeah.
And there's other people that are like, well, I have a choice to make whether it's right for me to bring this baby into this world or not.
Real quick, guys. Yeah, we're streaming. Bathroom break. I see there's a few people watching, but we did have a few go back out. But yo, we're still going through it. So we will be right back, guys. Like, share, subscribe to the channel. We'll be back momentarily after these not messages. Hear me. And we're back. Yeah, I'm just gonna get right back into like playing the John because, yeah.
Legal passage of guns, drugs, and human beings across our border. So that is the reality of it. And 4 years of being vice president, I'll tell you, one of the extensively, I mean, I'm here in Georgia. I think somebody told me 17 times since I've been vice president in Georgia alone. I believe it is important to build consensus. And it is important to find a common place of understanding of where we can actually solve problems.
On that note, your cabinet?
Yes, I would.
Anyone
Yes,
in
I
mind?
would. No one in particular in mind. We got 68 daes to go with this election. So
No
I'm
one
not-
particular in mind.
But I think it's really diversity of opinion. I think it's important to have people at the table when some of the most important decisions are being made that have different views, different experiences. And I think it would be to the benefit of the American public to have a member of my cabinet.
And we have some never before shared details about the phone call that changed everything between President Joe Biden and Vice President.
Oh, coming up. So yeah, so like for anyone watching already now, we're trekking through this thing. But
no, we're not.
How
We're
Biden broke the news.
How Biden broke the news.
Oh, we're not trekking through it. We're slugging through it.
We're slugging. I think it's my fault for
Yeah,
some
let's see.
reason.
Governor Walz.
How has the stream been going with
country
me
is
in it?
just
Because like
starting to know
I'm.
you.
Oh no, I keep stopping it.
And New York is.
Make more.
What's yours?
This is live. I don't know. I don't think there's a way to get around the ads, even on like YouTube TV. It's just, I guess that's the point. Like it's TV. You know, it's like $60, but I still have to watch ads. I guess it's cheaper than cable. Like anything, think about anything you would. This is not. I'm not being sponsored, guys. On YouTube TV. Just like looking at it, you know, like yeah, all these ads. Like I don't care to show all these ads. Get out of here.
How much is it for you? Like $60 a month for that?
Okay, here we go.
Even been in the same room was when Harris was a senator watching Trump's State of the Union.
So like yeah, it's like 50, 54 something or whatever.
Yeah,
I mean,
basically
I
like
don't really
60 a
watch
month.
live TV, but like
Too much for how much
So-
channels you have.
yeah, rounding up. It's so with the first John, you get like I think there's, as far as I know, there's only one additional. I think there's other packages where you can get other streamers because now, basically because all the streaming services were like, oh shit, we overestimated. We're not Netflix. There's like bundles now. So like I have like 2-3 bundles and like even with Prime, like so like I have Prime, but like through Prime I have Paramount Plus, Shudder, and there's one more that I'm forgetting that I have through Prime. But then I also have Netflix is included with like my phone service. I use my brother-in-law's Max account. You gave me your login for like 2 different streams. I don't
The one
Live
I gave
TV
you for
comes
was the
in handy
Criterion
here.
channel. excuse me.
Yeah, the cry. So like, yeah, I don't need like anything, and I barely even get to watch anything really nowadays. My house is like Auschwitz. You know, my daughter is like a SS officer, so it's Toy Story all the freaking time.
Oh yeah.
But even when, like, and even lately, I've been watching more Blu-rays and DVDs that I have than shit on streaming. But yeah, YouTube TV. It's in handy where things like this. So that's good. Let's see what she's talking about.
Talk
Let's see how Biden
face-to-face.
broke the
only
news.
time they've even been in the same room was when Harris was a senator watching Trump's State of the Union address. Now it's Trump watching Harris on the campaign trail with money and momentum behind her and making her case directly to voters.
As voters are getting to know Kamala Harris, they want answers on how she will make their lives better. She heard that here at Sandfly Barbecue in Savannah.
Businesses I'll be rolling out next week. Part of what we're going to be doing in terms of a tax credit.
On the trail, she talks about her experience, years in the courtroom as a district attorney and eventually California's attorney general. She wants to reframe the contest as the prosecutor versus the felon.
I've been dealing with them my whole career.
The former president is turning to a well-defined playbook of personal attacks.
I didn't know she was black until a number of years ago when she happened to turn black, and now she wants to be known as black.
And in just 12 days, the nominees will meet face to face for the first time.
She's not a good debater. She's not a smart person. She doesn't want to debate.
Also,
I want to ask you about
is her bringing up Donald Trump. But and yeah, I was about to get into it. But the debate, guys, again, we will be doing it. We're going to be doing a debate drinking game here live. You can call in. I'm going to invite some dope peoples. It's going to be tons of fun.
Who else is gonna be there?
I don't know yet.
That's under wraps. Okay.
Yeah, but it'll be fun. It's still gonna be open panel. We're gonna be I'll wear a tie. It's gonna be
I look forward to that because it's gonna be interesting to see them two together.
Yeah, well, have you heard the news around it? Like, it's been like
it's been a hassle to get the debate together
you know,
because both sides want certain things and the other side, you know, they've been fighting whether to keep the mics mute or like to mute the mics or not. Like,
well, so
things I
Trump
heard about.
initially didn't want that, but those were the terms. So he agreed to the terms. And then recently, Kamala's people were like, oh, we don't want mute mics. However, this just happened today. ABC said that they're like, oh, it's set in stone. Like, so what the rules are going to be what they are. They're not going to oblige. And again, both parties still have the option. Like, they don't have to, again, it's a free country. You don't have to participate if you don't want to. But like, I noticed that when they mentioned changing the rules again, I would say this is the second or third time changing the rules and or asking to change the rules, whether it happened or not.
Yeah,
and
it's insane.
It keeps being, it's like being delivered like, oh, well, Trump is feeling shaky about doing it. He's scared to debate Kamala. I'm not gonna lie. I don't know who will quote win the debate. I can't give enough evidence or claims to say who would be the better debater. But I do not think that Donald Trump is afraid to debate Kamala Harris, like, at all. I don't. I don't know if she's afraid to debate him. I think you could make an argument for that based off of the moves, but also you can make the argument that by those same metrics, you can make the debate that, oh, he's afraid. but I don't think he's afraid. So like, I don't know if she's afraid to debate him or not, but like, I would argue that it would appear as though they're trying to get it, whether or not it's to get him to back out because they don't want to debate, or they're just trying to make it look a certain way.
The good precursor to the debate is this interview right here. That
Yes.
would make me, you know, that personally for me would make me guess like how well she's doing with public speaking. And as I've seen her so far, she's been doing well with volume. And
But
I think
this
just her
is
experience as vice president made her
pre-recorded.
a little more loose and
Yeah,
sounding
but this
less.
is pre-recorded.
Yeah, it's pre-recorded, but so is Trump's shit is also set up in a way. You know what I mean? Like both sides aren't like giving a better point of view, in my opinion, when it comes to their campaign. Like my interest is like how it's gonna get forward. Like, yeah, they just both posted their interviews. I don't give a shit. I want to see how well they do in a debate and like how well their like ideas on their policies are gonna be sold to us as the American people. Like that's what I'm looking forward to. Like when those two different sides clash. Like, cause so far
That's
for
fair.
me, it's not. It's what's that?
I said that's fair.
Yeah, and like that's pretty much it for me. Like I'm like in the middle when it comes to voting for these two. Most people don't vote, and I'm starting to see why. It's like what change is going to be brought into our country that's going to be astronomically better than where we are now. Like I said, I kind of looked a little bit through the Inflation Reduction Act. And the only thing I haven't really looked through is through which, depending on which side you're on, how do you see that law that was signed? It was a law that was signed like 2 years ago. And
So
it was
you
to
could
fight.
see some people, you could see reasons why it was a good idea, and you can also see some reasons why people would be critical of it at the same time.
Yeah, but it's not a concrete answer on whether it was a good cause for the country. And Kamala Harris is saying that it was. You know what I mean? And it's definitely, she would say that because it's a law that was signed under her under her, you know, under the administration she works for. So obviously, yeah, like, and basically like her sell is that she's going to keep things afloat and make things better. Whereas Donald Trump is just going to drive the country to the ground, because what he's using to bring people on his side is the thought that this country's falling apart. Things are an absolute mess, where the other side saying everything's cool and things will be better with us, but with Trump, things are going to go to shit. Like he's
What does it
dangerous.
look
And
like
it's-
right now? So one side is claiming that things are bad and there needs to be change, and the other side is saying like, you know, things aren't perfect, but they're not terrible, but they will definitely be terrible under this person. What?
It's kind of. Oh, sorry. Keep going. I'm so sorry.
No, like what does it like? Would you say things are bad, like things have gotten bad, or would you say things are okay?
Well, the tradition to like American politics has always been like having discourse and disagreeing. Like it's always been, as far as I've been alive, like Democrats, Republicans, and they both have different like values, like on what they think. But sometimes they think about the same things. Like you care about healthcare, care about Social Security, like, and making sure that you're gonna be fine. Like when it comes to money and when it comes to your savings and, you know, the workings of it. Sorry, Shannon, I'm losing my train of thought because I'm a little high. I ain't gonna lie.
Oh damn! On stream, it's all good.
Oh, my bad.
Shit.
Shit. But yeah, you were saying like how I feel about
The average American, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah, God bless America. Sorry.
No, you're good. No, I think it's get this. You're a hardworking guy. You're in your leisure. You know, hit a little bud, and you're giving explanations as far as you understand them. I don't think there's anything wrong with that. I think it's valuable, especially with these kind of things. Let's keep going because I really do want to kind of like get through this.
Okay. I was a little bit surprised. People might be surprised to hear that you have never interacted with him, met him face to face. That's going to change soon. But what I want to ask you about is what he said last month. He suggested that you happened to turn black.
Oh,
recently
they
for
did mention
political
race
purposes, questioning a core part of your identity.
Yeah.
Any
Same old tired playbook. Next question, please.
foreign policy?
Oh no. See, if I were her, I would have expounded. And I was talking to someone about this yesterday. So get this, kids. Here's the reason why. Here's the 2 to 3 reasons why Kamala's race keeps getting brought up. The reason it keeps getting brought up in the black community, and obviously we're talking about people who are critics of it, right? So she is Afro-Caribbean, right? She's mixed. She's a biracial female. She is Eastern Asian, Indian, and Afro-Caribbean. And I believe even her father's mixed, but that's where the Afro-Caribbean stuff comes in. Black Americans feel like Kamala wasn't with them shooting in the gym. And history does not lie. It would appear as though, and there's nothing wrong with it, Kamala spent more time with her mother and would probably identifies more with her mother's side of things, right? There's nothing wrong with that, kids. And that is something that she's used in the past in, or I don't want to say that she's used, but those were things that were highlighted, like her being Eastern Asian and Indian. These are things that were highlighted throughout her career. And again, when she was like in California, it was the attorney general. It was the first Eastern Asian, the first Asian. It wasn't the first black. It just technically wasn't, guys. Again, it's not a bad thing necessarily. So when people see now that it would appear as though to her critics that the marketing has changed. For black people in America, they feel like, Kamala doesn't or hasn't identified with the African American struggle, as it were, and not just the quote struggle, but like, again, for most of her career, it would seem that she leaned more into the other parts of her identity, which again, there's nothing wrong with that. So I would argue that when it's brought up, the legitimate reasons on why that's brought up, because get this, guys, because I already know where it's going to be. Some people, yeah, they're just straight up racist, all right, but like, I'm not stupid. I'm sick of having the racism talk. Racism is majority frowned upon in our society, regardless of what you think. I'm not saying that America doesn't have a race problem. We do, not in the way you think, though. But that's not the majority. Her right wing and Republicans, those are critics or just those like political critics of her. So not Black America. The reason why they highlight her race is for the very reason that I just highlighted a moment ago, which is like, it seems like when it was convenient, that's when you leaned into that part of your identity. I think it's completely understandable and normal that a politician would. It's still dishonest and kind of cheat and kind of, grimy. However, her political opponents are only bringing it up because, yeah, that's what they have in their favor. It's another thing that they can dig at her for, but she is guilty of it, and it's apparent and obvious, and there's evidence that proves it. But yeah, next question, because that I would argue that is I've heard people in my personal life, they've said it. She's a black woman, technically. So yeah, they're voting for her, and that's why. No other reason. Just that's why.
That would be a bad reason to vote for her.
I didn't say it was a good or bad reason, but this is the truth. And honestly, I would even argue that like I've had conversations with people where it seems like white people. And it's not the case, because a piece of it can kind of be taken as like, oh, because they're white and they're saying they're for Kamala, it's because of reverse racism or something like that. But like, it is kind of like a thing now where like, it's like, especially a black woman, like you can't criticize her. So like, I can't. No, you can, but it is greatly frowned upon. So like, if I'm like, oh, I think Kamala, for the most part, like when I've heard her speak, sounds, when I think of a politician, she just doesn't sound good.
That is exactly like encouraging someone to be closed-minded, which is very stupid.
I agree.
Yeah.
But hey, this this is
And
America.
I don't think a person with decency that would be for Kamala Harris would actually argue that in a debate. Like that's a
Well, you said a
weak
person
argument.
of decency. I don't think no one who is paying attention. I would hope, even a
Or
little
maybe I
bit.
should reword it like credibility. Someone that really is about their shit and like knows or has a deep opinion on what's better for this country. Like let's say somebody who's in for Kamala Harris and somebody who would speak for her and would be able
But
to.
that's not what's going to determine the election. Sadly, what's going to determine the election is the common man, and the common man. Again,
Yeah, and on both sides there are extremities to it, and there's always different, maybe even fucked up reasons why people vote for each other, but that's also on both sides. And
No,
where
I
we are
agree.
now is in a polarizing moment in history where we can't really tell who's gonna win off the bat. Even though Kamala Harris is like catching up real quickly into like 50-50, 49-51, like she's beating Trump in some states where he was winning. Like you can't tell where it's gonna end.
If
Still,
you want my honest opinion, just from because like and even people who are biased to one side will tell you, like when we see the like daily projections, they're not 100% reliable, and we've seen that from past elections, like countless elections. We've seen that like, oh yeah, the projections and the estimates very rarely line up with the result. I mean, sometimes, yeah, and it's a good again, it's an estimate. I personally think like just from like most of the people in my life who I've interacted with, and this does not mean that they like the guy. It doesn't mean that they're quote Republicans. Most of the people I've talked to are voting for Trump, or they're just like, I don't know about Kamala. Like it seems weird. But then there are quite a few people who I've spoken to who are very much passionate about one side or the other. So like there's people who I've talked to who I would say like they're not like, I would say the majority of people are saying that they're gonna vote for Trump, but they're just like they give an exclaimer, a disclaimer, which is kind of what I've catch myself doing, because you're right, things are really weird right now. It's so polarizing. So like I even feel as though I don't have to, but I feel as though I have to always kind of over explain and be like, well, look, don't get me wrong. I didn't say I like him. I didn't say that he's the savior. But like logically, when I'm looking at him, like, oh, pick the lesser of the two evils. I'm just looking at it for myself. I would argue he's the lesser of the two evils. That's where I'm leaning more towards. And I feel like as each day goes by, I kind of get a little more something.
You think if Kamala Harris becomes president, we'll be closer to World War III?
Like technically, yes. Do I think that that's a definite? No.
Okay, because it is interesting that she's vice president now, and weapons are still being given to Israel to fire on Gaza, and that's only implicating more war, like across
I would
different sectors of the
argue
planet.
that even regardless of what she is saying, based off of what is because of her current position and what we're seeing and what has been, and again, a lot of people will be like, "What?" It looks like she's lying more about her positions than Trump is, and it's only because she's currently in power. Now,
Yeah.
Trump's leverage is that like, oh, you've already seen what 4 years with me is like. And I'm sorry, like I'm just being honest, guys. Culturally, it was bad, and then COVID, and I give grace to both the end of Trump's presidency and the beginning of Biden's, because for both of them, the pandemic, guys, whatever bullshit happened when either of them were in power, whether it was at the end or the beginning, I would argue is not their fault, and they should kind of be given a pass, both of them, because the pandemic, dude, like no one freaking knew. Yeah, there were different opinions about how things should go, but like it was a shit show. It was a shit show for Trump leaving out, and it was a shit show for Biden coming in. So when it comes to the pandemic, or just them, because they've been our last two presidents. I think they should both be given a pass in regards to COVID matters, regardless of whether or not whatever their decisions were and whatever they said. Some things could be argued that, like, oh, this person, how they went about it showed more positive results versus this person. But I think for both of them, when it comes to COVID, leave that out. Like the beginning of Biden's presidency, grace. The end of Trump's presidency, grace.
Yeah, like I see it in a way the pandemic caused the inflation, and I don't think it's a fair thing for Kamala saying that when she walked in, the economy was collapsed. It was like that was in the effect of the pandemic, and
which would mean that it's also fair to say, like, the people who are like, oh, inflation or whatever, everything's bad because of Trump. It's the same thing, because, like, again, COVID, no one knew.
I go the other way and say for Biden's term as well, because it happened during Biden's term. So a lot of people.
I agree. That's why I was saying
they go
about
like milk and eggs and bacon are so much, and it's because of him. It's like, no, it's because of a long-term effect caused from what happened during the Trump administration, but each side is blaming each other, and then inflation like becomes muddled, the cause of it. People are just talking out their asses.
All right, so we agree. So okay, so guys, get this. COVID is no one's fault, man. So like if Biden did some good stuff and fucked up stuff, hey man,
there are people to blame for the pandemic. It's like muddled. Like people say it was out of a lab, and then
because it's a sticky, the origins or whatever. But it's I think how our country went about it. That's where the criticism comes in for both sides. And I would say that both sides, it's like whether there were good things done or wrong things done, their hands are tied, man. So like what are you gonna do? It's a shitty situation.
There was a things talked about. I think it was in a Bob Woodward book, and it was a book called Rage. I think it was Rage, but I could be wrong. And it was about the Trump administration talking to someone in China, and then like this person's responsible for making sure that disease doesn't get spread throughout the world. Like they kind of keep track through like travelings and stuff like that, and like where certain diseases are coming from, and you know what I'm talking about, right? Like it's like the more technical. They talk about it in a book where this dude is keeping communication with another guy from China, and then that other guy from China just stopped contacting him altogether, and then it kind of led through the pandemic. Like things were very iffy during that process, like where they figured out that holy shit, there's a virus in this nation that started from one area, and it's literally spread throughout the entire world. It's fucking nuts. It's like, hey, there's a really bad virus, and they're like, it's like H1N1, it's gonna go away. No, it's already here. And
and get this, even if like our leaders, I'm assuming that our leaders knew certain things earlier than we got information, or like I'm sure shady things were done on both sides.
Always.
I'm sure good things were done, like with hands being tied, were done on both sides, and vice versa. Like it's. So COVID, guys, get this. The end of the COVID stuff you want to blame on Trump is not his fault. The COVID stuff you want to blame on Biden is not his fault. It is what it is, man. And they're politicians. So like even if either one of them did shady shit that they thought would be, in the best interest considering the situation, hands were tied. Let's keep going.
Would be on your plate if you become commander-in-chief. President Biden has tried unsuccessful war between Israel and Hamas in Gaza. He's been doing it for months and months, along with you. Would you do anything differently? For example, would you withhold some U.S. weapons shipments to Israel? That's what a lot of people on the progressive left want you to do.
Let me be very clear. I'm unequivocal and unwavering in my commitment to Israel's defense and its ability to defend itself. And that's not going to change. But
Okay.
let's take a step back. October 7th, 1,200 people were massacred. Many young
getting kicked from stream. I've been having connection problems all night, so bear with me. We got Chris back. I'm gonna pull the stream back up. But what I was saying about the whole, I honestly I kind of want to give a point to her. 1 second, guys. Okay. Man, it's just giving me like the hardest time in the world. What's up, Chris? My bad.
Yo.
It is definitely me.
All right, I guess by
All
her
right.
response to what she
There
said
we go.
about that, yeah, it seems
Israel.
like nothing's gonna change. Yeah,
Yeah.
nothing's gonna change on that.
I think she's gonna do the same thing she's kind of done with the other, I guess, hot button questions where it would appear as though her opinions changed and she's gonna try to please everybody. Get this, kids, when you try to please everybody, you please no one. What I think she's gonna end up doing is honestly just kind of talking around it, saying like, oh yeah, it's messed up. But so far, as I was saying, like, I kind of like her position on it. I kind of like that, like, it would appear as though, again, so far, so I'm gonna let her finish. But it's like, oh, like, no, we're not saying that we necessarily condone how Israel has responded to certain things, you know, but I think there's a very simple way to go about that. Get this, it's like, oh, Israel, okay, so we're giving you money, you broken rules of war, or, you know, our ethics, things that we are like, we're cool with, so get this, no more money. No more funding, no more, you do not have our support. Get this, you have our support if it's about defending yourself, where it's ethical and justified. But if you're going to break rules and hurt people and basically do some tit for tat, eye for an eye, we can't be associated with you. And I think that that's reasonable, but no one wants to freaking say that. It's like
Well,
the weirdest thing.
there are countries that have done that, like Japan. I think like Bulgaria. Like, there's countries that I don't know about that, but there's countries that have like they've refused to send them shipments that have weapons and all that type of sort of stuff. It's just we're the ones still doing it. And
Well,
yeah,
Israel, I think, is different. Israel is pretty interesting because I would argue. Here's my guesstimate again as a layman. When I look at the world and everything, and it's like, what is the United States' interest in Israel? I think it's because Israel is not liked by a great deal of a lot of people surrounding them, who are also people who are not fans of us, who we aren't fans of. And I think it's like enemy of my enemy. And it is a valuable resource. So for multiple reasons. So our government, again, they want to cozy up to them, but at the same time, you got to sell it to the people. And the people this is just my opinion. I think a lot of Americans are confused and misinformed about this war and the things that are going on over there. I think that they think that it's about ethics and standards that we hold dear here, and they're not looking at it for what it really is. Ladies and gentlemen, this is a holy war between them. This is about religion and faith and things promised by God or different gods, what have you. We should stay the fuck out of it. Like, that's because, like, again, we keep trying to put our American United States way of looking at it onto it, no matter what side you're in favor of, because you got the Hamas people, and then I would argue it would appear as though the minority are the people who are like, well, Israel, and we should stay out of it.
And does that mean not sending them weapons? That means staying out of it. Like,
I would highly argue that means not sending. Again, I think Israel as an ally is a valuable asset. I'm not saying that we should just be like, oh, you cut completely. I think it would be fine and fair to tell them, look, guys, we're on your side. We want to help you. However, you're kind of going about this in a way that we can't condone. So because you've gone about it in a way we can't condone, unless you agree to some kind of compromise or sit down or some kind of penance, we can't give you any weapons, money, whatever the fuck it may be. We're going to have to, and get this, if you come to your senses, depending on what is talked about and discussed, we are willing to sit down and discuss those things because we want to maintain a relationship. However, under these circumstances, considering the things that you've done in retaliation, we cannot. I think that that's fair. I think that saying it in that way would, again, it's because I'm not gonna lie. Yeah, keep Israel as a resource. I can dig it for multiple reasons. But if we want to, I would say for the Democrats, because like a lot of, and the sad thing is, like the like far left, like Democrats that are like really passionate about this. One, like I said, I think they don't understand what's going on between these groups of people, really, as well as it's like there's no compromise. That's not an option. It's what I want because I know what I want is the right thing objectively, no matter what. Like, they're not even willing to like think or talk about it. And that makes it really annoying because it's like, well, again, you have to compromise when it comes to the certain rules that we have in place and the way our government's set up and the way that we go about, other things with other nations. Like, there are going to be times where, you're not going to get it exactly the way that we would want it, or exactly the way you, individual voter, wherever the hell you are, thinks it should go. There has to be compromise, and that's the problem. That's the problem now within our own culture, on our own soil. No one wants to compromise. Some want to compromise. However, when only a few want to compromise, and this goes to both sides. I'm sure there are people on both sides that are like, well, let's maybe just sit down and try to come to like the middle ground. But those people on both sides are ostracized and put in this weird place where people like me are in, where it's like, well, what the fuck do you want me to do? Yeah, because I got one side telling me this, one side telling me that. This one side, it's like, oh my God, but then the other side doesn't make it any better by saying this as a rebuttal. So like, where the fuck do you want me to go? But I have to pick one of you. And then if I'm like, okay, literally the lesser of the two evils, I come to a decision, no matter what, someone's going to hate me. And again, I don't think that people should make their voting decisions based off of like, you know, their social interactions. But at the same time, I wouldn't be mad at someone who would, considering, even though that kind of thing should be private. Let's continue, guys. Let's keep going. We're almost done.
No, we have to get a deal done. Dana, we have to get a deal done. When you look at the significance of this to the families, to the people who are living in that region, a deal is not only the right thing to do to end this war, but will unlock so much of what must happen next. I remain committed,
like what?
Since I've been on October 8th, to what we must do to work toward a two-state solution.
Okay.
Where Israel is secure, and in equal measure, the Palestinians have security.
Boom, kids. Just from there, I know she's going to finish her point. We're going to let her. But I have to give a point to the Kamala camp. So far, Kamala is actually has more points than the opposition in regards to just the interview. And the only reason we're doing it like this is because I was under the impression, I had my biases coming in, kids, for anyone just now joining us, that Kamala would mainly talk about her opponent. Now, again, we're actually not that far in. We've been here, we've been covering it. We're pausing and stuff. But yeah, that's where we are. Kamala's winning.
Self-determination and dignity.
Governor Walz, the country is just starting to get to know you. I want to ask you a question about how you've described your service in the National Guard. You said that you carried weapons in war, but you have never deployed actually in a war zone. A campaign official said that you misspoke. Did you?
Well, first of all, I'm incredibly proud. I've done 24 years of wearing the uniform of this country. Equally proud of my service in a public school classroom, but there's Congress or the governor. My record speaks. I speak candidly. I wear my emotions on my sleeves, and I speak especially passionately about our children being shot in schools and around guns. So I think people know me. They know who I am.
Oh,
they know where my heart is. And again, my record has been out there for over 40 years to speak for itself.
She's gonna add something, but my goodness, I will give him this. He both answered the question and didn't at the same time. I'm sorry, kids. That's a point for the Kamala camp. You know what? Okay, I'm gonna put his stuff separately. That's a point for Walz. What do you think? What do you think of that response? You think, like, based off her question? I think he answered it and didn't answer it. It's like that was smart. That was politics.
Yeah, he said his record's out there, so I mean, the fuck I could take with that. If I knew his record, that would mean something. That's about it.
Yeah, but he didn't address the specifics of the criticism that he's getting. So she did ask the question, right? But I know that he's seen the criticisms. He did not say if he might have stretched the truth. However, he did say, he was like, oh, like most Americans, I wear my emotions on my sleeves and I speak candidly. I think that was a cool way, a very good response. I think it was a good response because it doesn't answer, get this, so he doesn't admit or omit on whether or not he misspoke. However, at the same time, I kind of get what I think he's laying down. He's saying, look, I'm a regular American guy. I might have said that, like that way to where it could be taken that way. But look, man, I'm just proud of the shit. That's what I'm. Yeah, and he's so he's answering it without answering it, and while giving a good answer for it. Let's keep going. She has something to add here.
The idea that you said that you were in war.
Yeah.
Did you misspeak as
Oh,
the
she just
campaign has said?
Yeah, I
repeated
said
the
we were
question.
talking about, in this case, this was after a school shooting, the ideas of carrying these weapons.
Oh,
My wife, the English
retracting points, but I would say F him for that. He went back to like, dead kids getting shot in school. And kids, it's not because it's Tim Walz. It's because I would do the same thing. Politicians are full of crap. But actually, should that be a point? Him being like, oh, look, I was talking, look, dead kids.
It's like a progressive thing to say, I guess, to compare a school shooting to a war. I guess. Is that what he means?
Like, when I said I was in war, I mean, I don't know if that's what he's meaning, but let's let him, and then we'll pause it after the
grammar's not always correct. But again,
let's take it back.
If it's not this,
a few seconds.
The idea that you said that you were in war.
Yeah.
Did you misspeak as the campaign has said?
Yeah, I said we were talking about, in this case, this was after a school shooting, the ideas of carrying these weapons of war. And my wife, the English, you told my grammar's not always correct. But again, if it's not this, it's an attack on my children for showing love for me, or it's an attack on my dog. I'm not going to do that. And the one thing I'll never do is I'll never demean
you mentioned Trump
service in any way. I never have, and I never will.
I just one other question, because again, this is all new.
Yeah.
I mean, this was not, however many days ago, this was not on either of your bingo cards, especially yours. You had to clarify that you had said that you and your wife used IVF, but it turned out you used a different kind of fertility in order to have children. And then when you ran for Congress in 2006,
which
your campaign
kids,
repeatedly made false
when I heard
statements
about that, I heard that nitpick from the opposition. I thought it was a nitpick. I saw the clip or the moment in question, and to be quite honest, even when I heard CNN go into like crazy, like dick riding defense for him, they had a good point. It was like, oh, like, I mean, he's a guy, he's talking about, I would say that he was generally, because him and his wife went through different means of conceiving a child. He categorized that in the same thing as IVF. I don't think that was him lying necessarily. I think that was maybe just him being a human and relating the two. So I thought that was actually a nitpick. So I hope that his response is, I think that would, that's like, it's like, what the fuck, dude?
A 1995 arrest for drunk and reckless driving.
Oh, I forgot about this.
What do you say to voters who aren't sure whether they can take you at your word?
Well, I've been very public. I think they can see
I like how she worded
out,
that question.
Former folks I've served with, and they vouch for me. I certainly own my mistakes when I make them. The one thing I'll tell you is I wished in this country wouldn't have to do this. I spoke about our infertility issues because it's hell, and families know this. And I spoke about the treatments that were available to us that had those beautiful children there. That's quite a contrast in folks that are trying to take those rights away from us. And so I think people know who I am. They know that record. They've seen that. I've taught thousands of students. I've been out there. And I won't apologize for speaking passionately, whether it's guns in schools or protecting of reproductive rights. The contrast could not be clearer between what we're running against the vice president's position. I don't think they're cutting hairs on IVF or IUI. I think what they're cutting hairs on is an abortion ban and the ability to be able to deny families the chance to have a beautiful child.
Up next, the moment that changed.
All interesting things, however, again, did not answer the question. Good deflection. I like him better than Kamala. Like if it was reverse, you feel me? I think he, like even with this, I would say Kamala's doing okay so far. Again, it's pre-recorded and all that, but Yeah, I don't know. She's just lame, guys. I don't even know how else to say. Oh, that's funny. That's a meme now. And I saw like there were some criticisms. People were saying like oh, like he yanked his son's arm or some shit, and they're like he's clearly an abusive father. And I'm like, come on, that's a stretch. Like that would explain maybe like an overstimulation, like depending, like I don't know. Huh?
I was just gonna say that there's always somebody doing a stretch, like we're talking about somebody like lying, exaggerating. You all right, man? You up? You froze up, yo.
Let's skip through these. Don't you hate TV? Remember when TV was like I guess yeah, ads were just a part of it. You just had to like get over it.
Back in TV, you can skip the ads. Usually, we would just talk during the commercial.
Yeah. You couldn't.
That's really what would happen.
And talk to, or you could use the bathroom.
Yo, real shit. That would be a better way to respond to this interview. Is like we watch it, and then when the commercials come on, we talk. That's how that shit should have been done.
I can dig it. However, one, I do have a lot to say, and then two, for YouTube reasons, like I don't want to. Like
you keep a video, like without getting, I guess. How long can you keep a video without getting like strike? I guess.
Well, not only that, like I would want to, because for all that, think about the audience could just go watch the video themselves. If they get this, if they're watching this, they want to hear every little nitpick that I have, and maybe not every single viewer.
Yeah, you can do that during the advertisements, I guess.
Yeah, let's keep going, kids.
Presidential nominees, Vice President Kamala Harris and Minnesota Governor Tim Walz. It's hard to believe it was just 39 days ago President Biden shocked the world via tweet. That's how we found out he was dropping his re-election bid. But before he tweeted the news, Biden called his vice president. And for the first time, we are hearing about that phone call and exactly what Kamala Harris was doing when she answered. But we started this discussion with the moment that set all of this in motion.
President Harris, you were a very staunch defender of President Biden's concern. The debate you insisted President Biden is extraordinarily strong. Given where we are now, do you have any regrets about what you told the American people?
Not at all. I have, and I'll tell you, it's honors of my career, truly. He is so smart and to the American. And I have spent hours upon hours with him, be it in the Oval Office or the Situation Room. He has the intelligence, the commitment, and the judgment.
I call bullshit. I call complete bullshit.
I think the American people
I'm
rightly deserve in their president. By contrast, the former president has none of that. And so, one, I am so proud to have served as vice president to Joe Biden. And two, I'm so proud to be running with Tim Walz for president of the United States and to bring America what I believe the American people deserve, which is a new way forward, and turn the page on the last decade of what I believe has been contrary to where the spirit of our country really
well,
is.
half the decade you were in office.
3.5 years has been part of your administration.
I'm talking about an era.
Thank you, Dana.
That started about a decade ago.
Oh, it started a decade.
Okay. Warped, I believe it to be. That the measure of the strength of a leader is based on who you beat down,
I'll count that.
instead of where I believe most Americans are, which is to believe that the true measure of the strength of a leader is based on who you lift up. That's what's at stake as much as any other detail that we could discuss in this election.
Because we haven't had a chance to talk, I'm just curious, staying on President Biden.
Oh,
When he called you and said he was pulling out of the race, what was that like? And did he offer to endorse you right away, or did you ask for it?
It was a Sunday, so here I'll give you a little too much information.
Go for it. There's no such thing, Madam Vice President.
Oh, yeah.
My family was staying with us, and including my baby nieces, and we had just had pancakes, and Auntie, can I have more bacon? Yes, I'll make you more bacon. And then we were sitting down to do a puzzle.
Americana. Oh, cakes.
And he told me what he had decided to do.
He's so normal and not weird.
I asked him, "Are you sure?" And he said yes. And that's how I learned about it.
And what about the endorsement? Did you ask for it?
He was very clear that he was going to support me.
So when he called to tell you, he said, I'm pulling out of the race and I'm going to support you.
Well, my first thought was not about me, to be honest with you. My first thought was about him, to be honest. I think history...
Chris, do you think that Biden willingly stepped down, or do you think that he was forced out?
Probably forced out. I remember something.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
I forgot what it was. Like an amendment was going to get thrown at him if he wouldn't step down. Like, and it was going to make it easier for him.
15. I heard that too.
Yeah,
Interesting.
So I heard that it was that pretty much. Fucking insane.
You know what? I will actually give her a point, because like puzzles and pancakes, like, come on. Oh, that was freaking beautiful. You're breaking our hearts, Kamala.
History is going to show a number of things about Joe Biden's presidency.
Oh.
I think history is going to show that in so many ways it was transformative, be it on what we have accomplished around.
I think Biden's
finally
presidency
investing
will
in
probably
America's
only be
infrastructure,
remembered because of
investing in
Trump,
new economies,
if I'm honest.
in new industries.
Not because Trump is
what we have
awesome,
done
but...
to bring our allies back together and have confidence in who we are as America and grow that alliance. What we have done to stand true to our principles, including the one of the most important international rules and norms, which is the importance of sovereignty and territorial integrity. And I think history is going to show not only has Joe Biden led an administration that has achieved those extraordinary successes.
Not really.
But the character of the man
His
is
character.
one that he has been in his life and career, including as a president, quite selfless and puts the American people first.
Oh.
A passionate defense of the man who chose her to be his running mate 4 years ago. 4 years later, Harris made a choice of her own. And with Governor Walz's rise to national prominence, a star was born at the convention, Gus Walz.
Oh, geez.
We'll hear about that moment between father and son, and the woman who could make...
Let's skip.
That took culture over the edge.
Shut up.
There's even more ways to sharpen their skills with tailored education.
Shut up.
Get out of my head. Let's ride.
Shut up. All these ads.
You told me you wanted to make a difference
for children.
Reagan.
Hi, I'm Steve Ballmer.
Oh,
I spent
well, got your movie guy. You want to see the Reagan movie?
Nah. Doesn't sound interesting to me.
No.
There's like no movies this weekend that are coming out that I want to see. It's like nothing.
Who's playing Reagan? Do you know? Anyone I would know?
I thought it was like one of those
what do you call them, motherfuckers? I forgot their last names. Forgot the motherfuckers' names. I know one's like Kevin, I think is his name. The fuck are their names?
I'll look it up later.
Yeah,
We're actually almost done. I just noticed, like, it looks like they. I'll give my final thoughts once we're through it, which we're almost at the end, kids.
State where Minnesota nice is a source of pride. But behind all of that folksy humor and flannel, Tim Walz is far from just being Mr. Nice Guy when it comes to needling Donald Trump. Governor, you obviously have spoken to voters all over your state for years.
Yeah.
What are you learning in a place like Georgia?
We're seeing an explosion in small business growth. The one thing is workforce and childcare, because workers have to have childcare.
Campaigning with Tim Walz.
Don't do it.
Finding his role in this campaign.
Would you be my running mate and let's get this thing on the road?
I would be honored, Madam Vice President.
After bursting onto the national stage with this word.
These guys are just weird.
They're
Known as
weird.
a folksy father of two from rural America, now a running mate who is not holding back.
Listen to the guy. He's talking about Hannibal Lecter and shocking sharks and just whatever crazy thing pops into his mind.
Weird.
And finding his own rhythm with his new boss.
What's
Just-
your order?
New
Brisket
boss.
and greens and mac and cheese.
Boss
What
babe.
about you?
I had the brisket.
Yes, queen.
And
Yes.
what about the situation, the Tabasco? What's happening with that?
I'm gonna let him speak for himself.
The vice president's growing peppers at her residence, so she's trying to like bring me along on this. You know, Minnesotans.
Because he's the folksy old white dad, you know? He balances her.
I just have to ask you both about two standout moments,
Yeah.
aside, of course, from the addresses that you both gave, but standout moments that were perhaps unexpected during the convention.
The
You
fluff.
mentioned one of them, Governor. A moment that you shared, that the world shared with your son, Gus. You were speaking, the camera caught him, so incredibly proud of you, so emotional.
That's my
saying,
dad.
That's my dad.
Yeah, which I don't think that
Yeah,
there's
I,
anything wrong with it.
I don't know as a father I could have ever imagined that. I'm grateful for so many reasons to be on this ticket, but that moment, to understand what was really important, to have my
Which,
son
guys,
feel a
it's
sense of pride
clever of
in
them
that I
to
was trying
mention
do
that.
the
Like,
right
let's say
thing.
CNN is full of shit.
It was, you try and protect
Them
your
bringing
kids,
that
you
up
know,
and
it
favor them
brings-
is good because
it
I
brings
think
notoriety
it's a
and
bad
things, but it was just
criticism.
such a visceral, emotional moment that I'm grateful I got to experience it, and I'm so proud of him. I'm proud of him. I'm proud of Hope. I'm proud of Gwen. She's a wonderful mother, and these are great kids. And I think the one thing is talking about the era we're in is our politics can be better. It can be different. We can show some of these things, and we can have families involved in this. And I hope that I hope people felt that out there, and I hope they hug their kids a little tighter, because you just never know, and life can be kind of hard.
And last question, Madam Vice President, the photograph
Last question?
that has gone viral. You were speaking, one of your
That's
grandnieces that
real?
you were just talking about was
I
watching
thought that
you
was
accept
fake.
the
I saw that.
nomination. You didn't explicitly talk about gender or race in your speech, but it obviously means a lot to a lot of people, and that viral picture really says it. What does it mean to you?
Oh, ew. Okay, yeah.
You know, I am running because I believe that I am the best person to do this job at this moment, for all Americans, regardless of race and gender. But I did see that photograph, and I was deeply touched by it. And you're right, it's the back of her head, her two little braids, and then I'm in the front of the photograph, obviously speaking. And it's very humbling. It's very humbling in many ways.
Did she talk to you about it afterwards?
Oh, she had a lot to talk about. She had a lot.
Oh,
She
a little
listened to
bitch wouldn't
everything,
shut up.
and she listens to everything.
Give you your hot takes?
Oh yeah, definitely.
Madam Vice President, Governor Walz, thank you so much for your time. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you, Dana. Thank you.
Okay.
This was Vice President Harris's first real unscripted setting where voters could see and hear her explain some of her policy positions now and how they.
Okay. So, a few moments ago, remember when I was like, okay, I see what this is. It took us a while to get through it. That was because I was pausing. Most of it was in the beginning. Looking at the length of this, I'm sorry, the interview was bullshit. This was fluff. It wasn't that like even looking back on like the things that we added, we could have said the same things and gave them the same opinions without the interview. Would you agree? Do you disagree? What do you think?
Yeah, I guess it's something to drive their campaign. That's it.
Which I feel like you can do that and also like you can do that while at the same time answering like the question, like a lot of the questions again. So okay, so I was taking a tally on how many times I felt Kamala gave a good response, or I was like, okay, I fucks with that. And then I was also tallying Waltz's good responses. In hindsight, he didn't talk as much. And then I also was giving a tally for how many times Trump was mentioned after asking a question about them specifically and what they plan to do or whatever. So for Kamala, I have 5. For Waltz, I have 2. However, Waltz, I didn't decide to start counting stuff for him until later on, but it was when he started to talk. He didn't answer or interject as much as I thought he would, actually. But then for Trump mentions, we got 6. So I would say kind of close. So fair. So Trump was not mentioned, I would say, disproportionately more than I thought or didn't think he would be. Kamala gave some pretty good responses in light of the questions and the setting and stuff like that, but I still think it was fluff. I don't think that will be good enough for those who are not against voting for her, but it doesn't answer their it doesn't answer their concerns or questions, really. I'm not gonna lie, I thought this was gonna be like really funny and entertaining. I actually probably will edit a highlight reel for this, guys. This year is gonna be dope for content because just the election alone. But Chris, what do you think? Final thoughts on the whole thing?
Can't wait for the debate.
Yeah, the debate will be way more entertaining, and I'm sorry, kids. It sucks because if you haven't been able to tell, I'm more in favor of Trump. I think I'm more likely going to vote for him. But he would have made it more entertaining, that's the only reason why I think the debate will be more entertaining. 1, it's a debate. And then 2, it'll give her something because he's gonna, like, his responses, she doesn't know. And get this, we don't know how engineered this interview was. I would argue it was just about as engineered as any regular person who doesn't feed into the bullshit would presume. So, not too much, not a little. I'm not gonna lie, I was expecting it to be a little juicier. Just to be honest, I thought it was gonna be really nice. But hey, it is what it is. But again, kids, we are doing the debate drinking game. We will be doing the debate drinking game. But gang, I do thank you. Chris, actually, any final words, like the election, just like as we are right now? I'm guessing I have you on board for the 10th. The debate drinking game, huh? Get you a 6er, sit down with us, and actually, I don't know. You don't drink too much. Maybe some Pepsi.
Oh, you mean like actually going there?
Oh no! So like, we're gonna live watch the debate and react to it.
Watch. Okay.
I was like, what?
Yeah, get this same way we did just now. So like I'll stream it live, like as it's broadcasting, but we'll pause, give commentary. Obviously, because we're doing a drinking game with it, I think it'll be fair to, if like I already have a few criteria, like a few rules. I have to lay out the whole thing, but I am going to plan the whole game, and I already know that there's probably going to be several other online, you know. With things like this, there's always a drinking game or something, so other people will have suggestions, but I want to make one custom for us. Already I have anytime Kamala laughs, you know, drink, which I don't think actually we'll get too many drinks out of lately. Also, what's it? Anytime Trump mentions the border, you know, like things like that, like, you know, drink. And the idea is we want you to get drunk, guys. So we're going to see how drunk we are and see what gets us to drink the most. I will also be keeping a tally on what things got the most drinks. It'll be fun. Again, the debate starts at 9. We'll be starting the show at 8. There'll be, you know, fluff and pre-stuff beforehand, get everyone's opinions. But I am trying to, and we will have call-ins. You know, we could fit quite a few people on a panel at a time, but I do kind of want to go in with like kind of like an Avengers, as it were. You know, 4 to 6 individuals starting off, and then the additional 4 or 5 who we can have on at a time can pour in. And yeah, or if you just want to watch and still drink with us, you know, it'll be fun. It's, you know, I'm so excited for the debate.
Yeah, what date does the 10th hit?
It's September 10th. It is a Tuesday.
Okay.
Yeah. But that pretty much covers it. Again, I'm not gonna lie. I wish it was a little more there. I wish it was a little more something. I thought it was gonna be a lot more juicier, kids.
I mean, to be honest, I didn't expect shit from it. Like, I mean, I guess a little bit more clear how they feel about issues. Like, that's like a concrete opinion because it's televised, it's pre-recorded. So it's like when they're talking about what they feel about whatever they were talking about there, that's what it was. Like,
you know, the real entertainment will come tomorrow when we hear all the different hot takes, whether they be in favor of or against it. So I'm very much looking forward to that. But kids, thank you for joining us this fine evening. We appreciate you. We love you. Again, I will, if you're new, like, share, and subscribe. And hit the notification bell so you can stay updated. On the community tab tomorrow, guys, on YouTube, I will be posting the live stream. Actually, you know, I'll probably share it to Instagram and Facebook as well. For the 10th, September 10th, 8:00 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, guys. We will be starting the debate drinking game for debate 2024 between Harris and Trump. Hear me. So until next time, kids, I will get at you guys. We appreciate you. We love you. Peace out.